and gave Nebraska's black shirt defense a big black eye. There was no slowing down Chris Brown, the back of renown, who galloped his way to 6 touchdowns. A year later, the memory remains fresh for the Husker seniors.
62-36. We want payback.
62-36 is a big number that's been sitting on our chest. Time to go out there and avenge that.
Can the Mile High Gang win in Lincoln for the first time in a dozen years, or will Nebraska settle a year-old score? The Big Red fans remain faithful in Lincoln, Nebraska. On this day after Thanksgiving, they'll pack Memorial Stadium again. Though this is not a championship team like so many in the past have been. A 7-5 record, uncharacteristic for any Nebraska team. Today they take on the Buffaloes of Colorado here at Memorial Stadium. And for 27 seniors, it's their final appearance at Tom Osborne Field. Happy holidays, everybody. Brad Nessler and Bob Greasy, and partner, this series goes back a long ways, and it has become an intense rivalry, probably more so on the Colorado side than it is on Nebraska. But last year, it became a rivalry. It was all Colorado in that ball game, and that seemed to be like that was the beginning of the decline of Nebraska football, if there is such a thing.
Well, there's no question, and I think you got to remember that the defending champion in the Big 12 is Colorado. They come in here very confident team and a very good football team. They're looking to win 2 ball games and go to the Orange Bowl or the Sugar Bowl.
Big question all week. Last week we saw Larry Johnson of Penn State hit the 2,000-yard mark in rushing. We thought maybe Chris Brown would get that shot today. It isn't going to happen.
Not going to happen, but they've got 2 good running backs to take his place. They're going to step in and play very well this day. And the thing you got to look at, this is a very confident football team. Colorado, they know they've beaten Nebraska. They know they can beat them.
And in Nebraska, you talk about pride. You don't put that N on the side of your helmet and come here sometimes as a walk-on and end up being a 5th-year senior starter without having that pride, and they're not going to give that up to them.
Well, I think what you look at is last year at this time, they were 11-0 and rolling. They ran into Colorado and lost. They played in a national championship game against Miami and lost. They've lost 7 of their last 14 games, but you got to remember, on this field, they've won 73 of their last 75. They're looking to turn it around here today and get on and put that last year in the past.
And the Buffaloes stampeded in here in the pregame warm-ups and did something I'm not sure I'd have done, kind of stirring up a hornet's nest. They're bouncing around on the end out there at midfield. I don't think the Cornhuskers, like their fans, are going to take to that too well. So it's Colorado, it's Nebraska, it's a tradition. The seniors being introduced here in Lincoln. And we'll see if Nebraska can get their payback against the Buffaloes when we come back to Lincoln in a moment.
Welcome back to our studios in New York. John Saunders and Terry Bowden. I thought there was a lot more pie in that, and then I saw you sneaking through that thing. Nebraska needing the victory today and another one in a bowl game to continue one of the most impressive streaks in all of college football. 33 consecutive years, they have won at least 9 games. Florida State had their streak ended at 14. The next best is Florida, and they would need a win to get to 13. This is an incredible run for Nebraska.
Well, now you can see why the Nebraska people are so disappointed. You've had that much success for that long, and Frank Solich having to make big decisions now decide that he will no longer be the offensive coordinator. He'll turn that over next year to someone else to try to get this thing back on track.
All right, one other game underway right now, that in the SEC. Remember, the winner of this game gets Georgia in the SEC championship game.
That's right. It's critical for both teams. Arkansas has like 5 straight wins. They really look like the team to win this game. They haven't lost Houston Nutt in 12 games in Little Rock, but they're struggling right now.
LSU with a big hit, the only score in that one. We, of course, will see you at halftime and update that game in the SEC. Right now, let's go back out to Brad Nessler.
All right, fellas, hang around. We'll see you at halftime. Colorado and Nebraska just about set to get underway. Let's go down third man in our team. Good to have him back with us this week. Here's Lynn Swan. Swanee.
Well, thank you very much, Brad. I'm with Coach Gary Barnett. Coach, this is a big emotional football game, yet you got the Big 12 championship last week. How do you get your team focused? What's your approach to this ball game?
Well, I I don't think there's any question that we're focused. I think if anybody questions that, doesn't know our team very well, and they don't understand competitive athletics. We worked really hard to get ourselves in a position to have this particular day to play Nebraska, and we're not going to take it lightly.
Chris Brown won't start for you. Bobby Purifier will be in the ball game. Does he change your offensive play selection at all?
No, not at all. Chris cannot play, and no, it won't change the select.
Coach, good luck.
Okay, thanks, Lou.
All right, Gary, thank you. Colorado and Nebraska. Nebraska leads the series, and they've won the last 5 in Lincoln. There's been some close ones, too, the last 3 outings, with the exception of that one a year ago, 62-36. And that was never a contest. 3 minutes into the second quarter, that one was all over. Colorado won the toss and deferred, so Nebraska will receive. Mariscal's going to have to re-tee it. There's a lot of wind, Bob. You were down on the field, you and Swanee, and they say 17 miles an hour right now, but it's going to gust at times a lot more than that.
Gusting, I would guess, to 25, 30 mile an hour, and it's blowing from our left to right, and sometimes across the field right at us.
They're probably going to have somebody hold this ball. That's 2 and out, so now they are going to bring somebody in and give a little help to the kicker. Roderick Sneed will take a knee. Josh Davis is back deep for Nebraska. He's already the single-season kickoff return leader, breaking his own mark. That's good news and bad news. You don't want to be returning a lot of kicks.
A lot of kickoffs means a lot of touchdowns scored against you.
Here we go. And this one to the far side and will not give Josh Davis an opportunity to return. So Nebraska will work from its own 20-yard line. Jamal Lord has put up some impressive numbers, especially as a runner. Over 1,200 yards rushing, 4th in the Big 12 in that capacity.
Over 1,000 yards rushing and passing. He's 4th in the Big 12 rushing, and he's 11th in pass efficiency among all the passers in the Big 12.
And of course, he had huge shoes to fill in this his junior year after taking over for the Heisman Trophy winner Eric Crouch, who graduated last year. Diedrich, first carry, big hole. That's more like Nebraska football, and he rips off 12 yards on the first play of the ball game. Our Nivea for men starting lineup. Here's the buffet bashers up front. Incognito, Erickson, Garrison, Cody, and Billy Waldrop on the front wall. The backs and receivers, Diedrich you've already seen. Davies is the fullback. Galladay is the tight end, and Thomas and Hasselbrook are the wide receivers. And there's the snap of the center. The senior, 1 of 27, playing their final game here at home. Colorado, Sean Tufts and Tyler Brayton in on the stop defensively for Colorado. Brayton's part of the group up front with Nineheis, Wilder, and Harris. Tufts and Walrus, one of their leading tacklers, the linebackers, and here's the secondary: Strickland, Masani, Sneed, Moorer, and Jackson.
They play 5 defensive backs. It's a 4-2-5. Neither of these 2 defenses are that outstanding.
Here's Diedrich off the right side and out close to the 36 with his forward progress. Pickup of about 4, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down situation. 3rd down and almost 6.
Neither defense that outstanding, I mentioned, and the offenses, they don't get it done through the air. Both offenses in the top 6 in the country in rushing and over 100 in passing. So this win today probably not going to bother the quarterbacks a bit.
Now let's see what Lord does on a 3rd down and 6. Willie put it up. They're going to run the option, and Colorado holds on for dear life. He only got a couple yards. They're going to have to give it up. That whole front wall stayed with the quarterback to make the stop.
Now Brayton made a nice play on the option to force Lord very quickly from throwing the football.
So that'll bring out Kyle Larson to punt. Larson, a former walk-on, has had a good year, over 43 a kick. And look out for the guy waiting on the other end, Jeremy Bloom, probably the fastest player on the Colorado team. Nice kick.
Now, everything's going to come this way because of the wind.
Well, you're right. That's what you called earlier. And not only did he hit it pretty well into a stiff wind, but that crosswind dropped it out of bounds at the 19-yard line. So 43-yard kick. And now it's time for Colorado to take over on offense. Robert Hodge, the senior, He took over after kind of a strange situation at the quarterback position.
Yeah, Craig Oaks early in the season got injured, another concussion, decided he was going to leave, and this team really bonded and came together when Hodge came in and made the replacement for him.
So the Buffaloes work from their own 19-yard line. Give it off to Purify, and he's nailed for a loss of 4. Philip Bland from the secondary made the stop. Livia for men up front wall. Bates, Hayes, Gray, Lucier, and Foster up front for Colorado. Purify starts today. To the Chris Brown. Drum is the fullback. Williams, McCoy, and Donahoe. And McCoy right now the leading receiver. 31 catches. He'll trot out here to the near side.
And because both of these defenses are kind of bland and the offenses don't throw much, look for the defenses to come up to play the run all day.
They do here, and they still break it off the right side, and it's Purify on the run. First down and a bunch more. Out of bounds at the 37-yard line. So whether it's Chris Brown or not, Purify goes 21 yards.
Well, it's not only the running backs, it's the offensive line, and this does a nice job. Lucier and Foster, Sipnewski up there. Purify ran for 225 all-purpose yards in their last game. So the loss of Chris Brown doesn't mean that they can't run this football.
And last year against Nebraska, he ran for 154 and a touchdown. So we know that he can carry the mail. First down from the 37. Both wideouts in tight on the left side, and Hodge is looking that way. Got rid of it. Incomplete. McCoy, the intended receiver, and Scott Shanley, the linebacker, was there to make the stop. Chris Kelsey, Bingham, Clanton, and Johnson. The wall up front in the 4-3 for Nebraska. Shanley, who just made that play, Rude's the inside backer, DeMario Williams in the secondary. Freshman in Washington out there with Bullocks, Bland, and DeJuan Gross, who's dangerous as a return man as well. They really needed this guy back. He came back last game, and although they lost, he showed why he's one of the best in the Big 12 when he's healthy.
He was out 5 league games. They really missed him.
Second down, 10 stretch plays going nowhere. DeMario Williams, the outside linebacker, makes the stop, loss of 4.
Both defenses are playing 8 in the box to stop the run early in this ball game. The wind will have an effect on the throwing. Behind the defense, Kelsey comes down to shut off right there. Almost gets him, but Williams, who was a junior college transfer this year for Nebraska, made the play.
Reese, I think we talked about this before, but with the wind conditions, would you rather throw with it or against it?
Well, you know, pick your poison. When you're throwing with it, sometimes it causes the ball to sail.
Hodge, there's a sailor.
Yeah.
Over the head of McCoy by a mile. 4th down.
Not only is it blowing left to right, but it's blowing across some, so you got to factor that in too when you're throwing.
He's the guy that leads the nation in kicking, and it's not just because of the thin air in Boulder. He's done extremely well on the road as well.
And he's kicking to a pretty good guy.
Oh boy, look out for this fella. He's taken 3 to the house this year already.
Yep.
And he hit it a mile. Gross has to back up. We got a flag down. Gross from the 5. Got one block. Here he goes down the sideline.
Almost.
Knocked out of bounds, but again, flags at the line of scrimmage.
You know, if you're a punt returner like Gross, what you love to have is a guy that's going to, outkick his coverage. And that's what Mariscal did there.
21-yard punt return.
How can you not outkick your coverage with a wind like this blowing?
Holding call. So they're giving right now Nebraska the options.
Holding. Offense. 10 yards. Replay the down.
So they're going to start it all over. And they'll have to kick again. John Lurie's our referee.
Watch right here. Watch right there. The number 40 is going to be held. Right here.
Pretty much tackled.
Yeah.
So now they back up the punter. And he'll do it again from inside his own 10-yard line. Mariscal a kick. And we'll see if DeJuan Gross gets his hands on it again. Gross had 2 touchdown returns in a single game. on punts. And this one he's going to have to run for and won't get there. And down by Colorado at about the 29-yard line. That's where Nebraska will take over for the second time today. No score here early first quarter. An exchange of punts 4 minutes into the game. No score here in Lincoln on a pretty mild day. We've done some games here this time of year when it's not this nice. It was about 59 degrees at game time. 6-1. Their only loss was to Texas, snapping a 26-game home winning streak with a Longhorns 3-point win. Now Nebraska works from its own 29-yard line. Diedrich up the middle, got about 3. Tyler Brayton's on the bottom of that pile, one of the captains, a senior out of Pasco, Washington. Aaron Diedrich, pretty good numbers. First Husker from Canada to ever sign a national letter of intent. A. Actually born in Montego Bay, Jamaica, so I don't know if he's got the A in there or Amon, one of those two. Second down along 6. Here he comes again. He can say anything he wants. He's into Colorado territory at the 47-yard line. Pretty good run, Mike.
Very good one. Philip Jackson, the corner on that side, didn't play his responsibility very well. Going to see from behind the offense. Will play here. Now, number 6, Jackson's going to come up on the outside. Right here, you see Jackson. He came up and filled on the outside. He should have filled back to the inside because the linebacker was filling inside of him.
Diedrich already 40 yards on 5 carries, and there goes about 8 more. So Darren Diedrich off to a great start. One of the seniors that was introduced. And you know, the Nebraska fans obviously are not happy about a 7-5 season, nor is their head coach Frank Solich. But you want to talk about the most respectful fans probably in the world.
Yeah.
And when those 27 young guys were introduced, there was quite a roar here in Lincoln. Now it's a fullback. Busting his way is Judd Davies. He's got a first down at the 33-yard line.
And if you're going to run an option offense, that fullback has got to be an integral part of it. The defense must stop the fullback first on an option offense.
This guy's a load. About 255 or 60 pounds is Davies.
If you're inclined to watch fullbacks and the nitty-gritty, we got 2 great fullbacks in this game.
Here's the freshman Horn, and not much for him. Diedrich's time has been diminished a little bit by number 5 here. They're very high on David Horn, a freshman out of just down the street in Omaha. Omaha Central. David Horn. Same high school as Eric Crouch. You go to Omaha Central?
So I believe he did. Interesting about Horn. Last year at this game in Colorado. Last year, Horn was on the sideline at a recruiting trip, official recruiting trip for Colorado.
At Colorado.
Yeah.
Decided to wear the red instead. We got a timeout, no score with 8 minutes, 48 seconds remaining in the first quarter. So the entire Nebraska team had huddled around Frank Solich. And now they come back out with a second down. No score at the 33-yard line, second down at 10 for the Cornhuskers.
We got a freshman, true freshman tight end right here, 42 Harrion. A lot of times when he's in the ball game, they like to get the ball to him.
Got great speed. Horn. Not too much. Got a couple. Nineheis, the defensive end, made the stop.
Nebraska will substitute 3 or 4 players on every play. I mean, they're sending some guys in, they're sending some guys out. They have different personnel groupings for the different plays that they want called.
Vince Okru, the defensive coordinator of Colorado, told us, I can't believe how many different packages and how many different offenses they have. A lot to get ready for. Back to throw is Lord. Deep out. It is intercepted. Yes, it's intercepted.
He caught it.
Bill Jackson. Wilson Thomas to the intended receiver, and a great interception by Jackson.
The tight end just wanted to go down and break to the outside. He rolls a little bit to his right. Now he's got to throw all the way back to the left. They did not get the setup that they wanted. It's a nice play.
That's a long throw, and that hung a little too long.
Yeah, good foot down. You only need one in college football. Trying to get the ball to Wilson.
So the first pass for Nebraska is intercepted. And now Colorado takes over at its own 13-yard line. Hodge rolls and throws. Got his man. Donahoe. And he's going to be close to a first down. Maybe a yard shy. Brought down by Philip Bland and Demario Williams. Join ABC Sports tomorrow. Outstanding regional action for you, 1 o'clock Eastern. Most you'll see Kenny Dorsey lead undefeated Miami against Syracuse, or West Virginia and Pittsburgh. Then at 8 Eastern, number 7 Notre Dame against number 6 USC, or Florida State. Tomorrow on ABC Sports, the class of college football. How big is that Notre Dame USC game?
Oh, that is huge. And Miami going up to Syracuse. They've won 3 of their last 4. Syracuse has.
Second down on the yard. And that yard's picked up by Purify out across the 25-yard line. So Colorado takes the interception, picks up a first down, and trying to get something going here offensively, as they are 6th in the country in rushing.
Look at this. 100th in passing. They scored 24 touchdowns rushing, only 13 through the air. Both of these teams' offenses heavily balanced toward the run.
And of course, Nebraska's defense, all the Cornhusker fans know, is 2 weeks ago they gave up 415 yards on the ground to Kansas State. Here goes Hodge on the ground, and he rumbles out for a first down. Nice scramble by the senior out of Torrance, California. Got 13.
Hodge has really been the boost of this team since Craig Oates left earlier in the season. He's not a strong arm. He can't do a lot of things. They don't ask him to do a lot. Just scramble a little bit, throw some play action. They throw short, they throw screens, little rollout. Just keep the drive moving, and we'll pound with our strong running game and our strong offensive line. Do what you do best, and don't try to be somebody that you're not.
This time last year, Robert Hodge was the punt protector on special teams. Now he's the starting quarterback. Purify up the middle. Demario Williams has made about 4 tackles already from his outside linebacker position. Eric Bieniemy, the running back coach for Colorado. Fun to coach backs like these guys.
He was a pretty good running back in his day, wasn't he?
Was he ever? As a player, 2-2 against Nebraska, and as a coach last year. Of course, they loved what they did on the ground in that 62-36 win. Second down along 6. Hodge off play action. He's got the fullback, and the ball is loose. Nebraska says they've got it.
Well, it's changed hands probably a couple times by now.
That looks like Colorado in the bottom of the pile to me, and it is. They got back on top of it.
Like
I think McCoy got it.
McCoy and Sipnewski look like.
And that's been part of Nebraska's problem. They're normally way up on the turnover ratio, and they're at 0 this year. They've had the same amount of turnovers as the opposition. And here they had an opportunity with Drum being hit by Rude. The ball came loose, but they couldn't cover it. So it's first down at the 47-yard line. Here's a toss. Calhoun this time. He's down to the 40, near the 40-yard line. Chris Kelsey got over along with Philip Bland to make the stop.
Let's go back to last year's game. In this game last year, Colorado just ran it down their throat. They beat them up inside. They were physical. Nebraska just basically wasn't tough enough. They wasn't physical enough. They were vulnerable to a power attack, and Colorado just ran it down their throat. Now they got the power, and they also have the speed to the outside.
They rammed it to the tune of 380 yards on the ground. Setting up play action, and Hodge going for McCoy. Got in. Touchdown, Colorado. Great throw. Perfect pass, and Derek McCoy from 40 yards out is the first score of the ball game. Working on Fabian Washington over there, Bob, the true freshman.
The true freshman, they'll find you. If you got a weakness in your defense, they'll find you.
So the passing game, just when we were talking about how good their ground game has been. It set up the play action just enough for Hodge to find his favorite target. And it's 6-0 Buffalo.
And how many drives come after the offense scores after a turnover by your defense?
Remember, that started at the 13-yard line on the interception by Phil Jackson, and it ends up being 7 points on the other end. Perfectly thrown ball. Hodge to McCoy. The Buffaloes on the road lead the Cornhuskers by a touchdown. Take us through the touchdown, Bob.
All right, you put your best receiver right here, your leading receiver, going to go down and run a little out and in and up on the true freshman. Washington, find the guy that the vulnerability in the secondary for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, which is Washington, the true freshman, and get your best guy on him and just throw it down the field.
And the pass was thrown in the perfect direction of the wind at Hodge's back, right to that corner. And they cap an 87-yard drive in 7 plays for the touchdown. Josh Davis again watches the kick sail out of the back of the end zone. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you, nothing better. Dr. Pepper. And Bowflex for real fitness results. Another sellout crowd here in Lincoln, Nebraska, but they see their Huskers down by a touchdown here in the first quarter.
And that touchdown did a big boost for the visiting team. Anytime you can get on the board first, especially to a team that plays so well at home, big play.
On the option, Lord will keep it. Cuts up inside. Now he shows his running ability. Here he goes out to the 44-yard line. 24 yards just like that. That's why you can see he's the guy that runs the engine here.
No question, he is more dangerous running the football than it is throwing it. He's had 1 interception already with his first throw. Now here's his first big run. Davies, number 4, doesn't get the block, but the guy ran around it. That's just as good. Hodge misses. Strickland misses, and finally he gets 25 yards, something like that.
Masani finally brought him down as he picked up 24. And from the 44, it's Darren Diedrich now. Diedrich had a good start to the ball game, and he's at midfield and to the 49 of Colorado. So Nebraska immediately gets their ground game going after giving up the touchdown. You just wonder how many passes we're going to see today now that they know the first one was picked off and that the running game's working.
Yeah, well, we were talking with the offensive, defensive coordinators from both sides, and the main emphasis was stopping the run and forcing the other quarterback to throw.
Davies, a fullback. He's got the first down.
And so far, having said that, Robert Hodge of Colorado has said, all right, you're going to give me the pass, I'm going to throw it. He's had a touchdown.
Davies moves the sticks down to the 44-yard line.
There's Robert Hodge. Says, I'll take what you give me.
Conclusion of today's game will select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevy will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Lord in trouble. And dropped back at midfield. Lost 5 or 6. Ewu from the secondary made the play. This is a situation Nebraska can't get itself in. Just when they get a first down, they don't want to lose 6 because that puts you in that passing situation.
Oh, for sure. They're a one-dimensional type of offense, and that is run the ball. And you know, Eric Crouch was developed into a pretty good passer his junior and senior years, but right now Lord is just coming into the first year of playing. You know, he doesn't pull the ball nearly as well as Eric Crouch did.
Unless this is a quarterback draw. Well, it was going to be something, but it blew up in the faces of Nebraska, courtesy of Nineheis. We talk about Jamal Lord and Eric Crouch. You know, when you look at their statistics, it's amazing. Now, remember, Eric won the Heisman Trophy last year with 1,100 some yards rushing, 7 passing touchdowns, 1,500 through the air. Now, his team was undefeated at this stage of the season. That's a big difference.
Big difference, too, is the rushing touchdowns. Crouch had 18.
But it's amazing that they can be that similar, and yet this is a 7-5 club. So,
but Eric could throw much more. The results of the passing game not good for Jamal Lord.
Wants to throw a screen here. Got it to David Horn. Horn's got a lot of traffic to weave through, though, and he's getting nowhere with this. So what looked great down to the 44-yard line, a first down, and a couple of plays blow up. And here comes the punting unit again.
Yeah. The defense for the Colorado Buffaloes just too quick. The play before this last one was supposed to be a fake reverse, and then there's going to be a little option. Took too long, and Ninehouse just got in and blew it up. So, you know, don't make any mistakes early in the ball game. Just punt it away.
Kyle Larson will punt. Jeremy Bloom waits on the other end. And Bloom has a touchdown on a punt return this year. He'll camp under this one, and he'll take it without a fair catch. But nice coverage. He only got about 4 yards on the return. DeJuan Gross, who's a pretty good punt returner in his own right, was on the coverage, and he brought down number 15. So Robert Hodge is off to a good start today. 5'11" senior out of Torrance, California. Had to take off on a scramble earlier. Picked up 13 yards and a first down here. And as Bob said, the perfect play action when they were running the ball well. And he hooks up with Derek McCoy for the touchdown. That's where we stand.
3 of 3, 60 yards, and he's hit 3 different receivers and a touchdown. Put his team up on the board first on the road.
Just outside their own 21. Buffaloes go to work again. Straight up the middle. Out for 5 is Bobby Purify. Purify, again, if you're just joining us, taking over for Chris Brown, who's in sweats on the sideline, who came in as the 3rd leading rusher in the country. In fact, he was the leading rusher in the country until we did Penn State and Michigan State last week, and Larry Johnson took care of that. And you know Chris would have liked to have a crack at the 2,000-yard mark, but they need him healthy for the Big 12 championship. And with that bruised area under his sternum, they just didn't want to risk it today. 2nd down and 5. Hodge down the middle, intended for McCoy, and looked like they had an opportunity for that one, and that sailed on him a little bit, incomplete. Coming up a week from tomorrow, reminder, don't miss a great college football triple header. At 1 o'clock Eastern, it's Virginia Tech in Miami, presented by AT&T. Swanee, Grease, and I will be there. At 4:30 Eastern, Washington State and UCLA. And then at 8, Oklahoma takes on Colorado in the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. It's all December 7th on ABC. You can get a leg up on who will earn the final BCS Bowl bids at ESPN.com. Keyword ABC Sports.
There's a lot of football left to be played the next couple of weeks.
No doubt about that. 3rd down 5, and Hodge rolls to throw and does and completes it. And it's a first down toss out to DJ Hackett. Pickup of 11.
That's a nice little play, like good execution. Sean Watson, the offensive coordinator, get half roll, quick throw. Had a couple of choices. 2 guys running slants to the inside, 1 guy going out to the outside. Like that.
Sean Watson down there is to the left of your screen, the 3rd man in.
Yeah, right here.
You got to bite your fingernails if you're a coordinator. First down at the 37. Little counter, and Purify is swarmed by a group of black shirts led by John Clanton from the defensive line, another one of the seniors.
I'm just tuning in this ball game. You're calling the guy black shirts.
Now they're wearing red, but that's what they call a defense here in Nebraska. And in past years, it's been considerably better. And of course, everybody knows that 3rd-year coordinator Craig Bohl has taken a lot of heat. This time a year ago, his defense was one of the best in the country. He says everybody kind of forgets when we went to the Rose Bowl. Yeah. We had pretty good defense. And this year, struggling. And he'll talk to his troops because the quarters come to a close. First quarter goes to the road team. Colorado in front by 7. ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Matt Kelly, Channel 8 Eyewitness News.
With Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan, and our ABC crew, Brad Nussler back with you in Lincoln, Nebraska, where Colorado heads into the 2nd quarter with a touchdown lead. Marcus Houston has checked in at tailback for Colorado. They fake it to him, and Hodge wants to throw again and does, and McCoy again, the man that caught the touchdown pass, has a pickup of 8 or 9 before DeMario Williams runs him out of bounds.
I like Robert Hodge, very efficient, just does what he can do. Is very accurate thrower, moves around. He's got to give defensive coordinators nuts. The movement, you always got to try and contain him. Gets outside the pocket, makes the good throws.
Bob and Brad, when the coordinators told us how concerned they were about both teams running the football, I thought coming into the ball game, they might hinge on the ability of one quarterback to really throw the ball well.
Third down, a yard here. Purify, hitting the backfield, and down he goes. Barrett Ruud, the middle linebacker.
That's a big play there. Craig Bull and his defensive players making a stop here. This is like a turnover. If you get a first down, they're going to keep going on this.
The fans weren't booing here. They're yelling Ruud.
Yeah.
For Barrett Ruud, whose daddy played here, too.
He went to school here locally, Barrett did. And his uncles played here, too.
His dad, Tom, played here in the early 70s. His granddad played here. Almost a block kick, and the flag goes down. If he didn't get a piece of that ball, it's roughing the kicker.
Yeah, that is something, because
how did he miss the ball?
He could have tackled the punter.
Ira Cooper is the guy that swarmed over Mariscal, and it's roughing the punter, and it's first down Colorado. He got everything but the football on this one.
Watch this. See, that's the problem with the guy trying to block the punt. Not going for the ball, but going for the kicker. You got to go where the ball is. You got to go in front of him where he's going to kick it from, and not where he's standing. They work on this all the time. And the guys that are on that punt block team, they work on it.
So now it's first down Colorado in Nebraska territory following the penalty at the 42-yard line. Purify broke a tackle, almost broke it open.
Well, that was a huge play.
Sure was.
That was a huge play. You think what could have happened? Nebraska blocks a punt, could have picked it up and ran into the other way, been a 7-7 game.
Even if they don't block the punt, they got DeJuan Gross on the other end, and who knows how far he's going to take it.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't happen. You get roughing the punter. Now the drive continues, and you're inside the 35-yard line.
8th play of the drive now as it continues. And a second down and a yard. On the stretch. And Purify got it, I think, by about a half yard. Ruud made the tackle again. Just about had the crowd into it for the first time today, too, when they stopped the third down and forced the punt. And that was Ruud who made that tackle.
Well, that's the thing, that when you're on the road, especially in front of a crowd that's as noisy as this stadium, you want to get out in front and you want to keep the other team down. That quiets the crowd. You know, this crowd has had nothing to cheer about other than that close to being a block punt.
Hackett brought the play in from the bench. He's the motion man now in the slot on the right-hand side. Hodge rolls and throws incomplete, intended for his fullback, Brandon Drum. Coming up tomorrow, Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Mark O'Meara, and Fred Couples compete for $1 million in a Thanksgiving weekend classic, the ConAgra Food Skins game. Tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific, right here on ABC. Best finish for Tiger ever was third. Couples, a 3-time champion. Stewart's the only other guy that's been able to do that. Didn't Tiger just win a whole bunch of, where was he, Hawaii or something?
Well, he was in Japan or somewhere.
I don't know, he was
and then
somewhere.
He stopped off in Hawaii and won that, and now he's, how much money can you win? 3 tournaments in 1 week.
Hodge swings it out too far in front of Calhoun. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and long. That's a tough pass. Somebody made a good play. Kelsey, coming off that defensive end, got up in the air, and Hodge, who's only 5'11", had to almost jump past that thing out there. Boy, when Chad Kelsey's there, Chris Kelsey, excuse me, I'm thinking about his brother. When he's there, their defense is so much better.
This man right here has got to cover the back, but watch the tight end come in and try to block him. He sees who has to cover him. Right there, he tried to block the guy that had the coverage on the play. You can do that in college because it's thrown behind the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 10. Here comes the blitz. Hodge pump fake. Down he goes. Ball is loose. And this time Nebraska, nope, they still don't them get it. Colorado's on top of it.
So far, all the breaks are going in the guys in the white shirt. So you make your own breaks. And that time, number 77, Justin Bates, got on the football.
Here comes the pressure from the outside, and it was Laney Hopkins coming around the corner.
That's just good defense of Craig Bowl and his defensive staff, sending in the blitz, knocked the ball loose, forcing a punt.
That play is kind of reminiscent of another number 40 today. If you watched our Texas A&M game, Corey Redding of Texas made one of the sweetest plays, taking it right out of the hands of a quarterback we've seen all year. And this punt's going into the end zone. So Nebraska does come up with a stop the second time they forced a punt. This time they'll get the ball back at the 20 when we return.
This Heisman memory is presented by Suzuki Motorcycles.
The 1988 winner of the Heisman Award is Barry Sanders.
In 1988, Oklahoma State's Barry Sanders had arguably the best season ever by a college football running back. He set or tied 34 NCAA records, including rushing for more than 2,600 yards and scoring 37 touchdowns. Sanders' spectacular season catapulted him to the Heisman Trophy.
Suzuki, proud presenting sponsor of the Heisman Trophy.
And Nebraska's football right there on the 20-yard line. With 12:03 to go in the half, they trail by a touchdown. Hasselbrook in motion. Harion's in the ball game. Jamal Lord back to throw, and he's going long for Harion. Got him on the run. Nobody's going to get him. 80-yard touchdown, Nebraska. Now they got something to cheer about.
That's just a play where you send one guy down the sideline. That's the freshman tight end we mentioned earlier, Harion, number 42, and you just throw it as far as you can.
For his size, he's got great speed, and he showed it there. 80-yard touchdown. Longest play allowed by Colorado all year. And we're an extra point away from a tie game. But this is a new kicker, Dale Endorf. Never kicked for Nebraska before, and he hits the extra point. Just like that, in one play, 80 yards, touchdown, Cornhuskers, and we're even at 7.
Go back to the last play. It's going to be a little roll this way, but here's Harion, the tight end, the freshman. Watches, he's going to sneak out. He's going to roll away, pull everybody on the defense to the other side. Now you've got single coverage right here. One-on-one, just throw it deep, let your tight end do his stuff. That's Moore, number 17, the free safety, single coverage. Harion slows up, gets his defensive man to slow up, to allow the ball to get down far enough, makes the play. Great play.
There was a personal foul on the extra point, so the kickoff's from the 50, and Endorf knocks it out of the end zone, and Colorado will work from the 20. Dale Endorf, we mentioned him. That's the first time he's ever kicked for Nebraska, that extra point. The normal kicker, Josh Brown, one of the seniors, suspended by Frank Solich for this game, though he was introduced with the seniors today. He's in civilian clothes on the sideline. He was picked up for suspicion of driving under the influence and suspended from the ball game. So you can see the taps on the helmet for a guy named Dale Endorf, who nobody knew a week ago.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe this game will come down to a kick.
Yeah.
At least he got his first extra point in there, and he knocked the kickoff out of the end zone. Now Colorado working from the 20. And about 4 tough yards for Bobby Purify when it looked like he wouldn't get anything. Philip Bland in on the tackle.
And Brad, just to add a little bit more to Dale's story, when he was dressing, he had to dress in the north locker room. The north locker room is to the far right of the end zone, away from the players on the first and second team. And I talked to Josh before the game, and he said he's really nervous. I just got to calm him down before he starts this ball game.
You can see how happy he is there. Got a little kicker talk going on the sideline. Hodge, play action. He got popped as he threw it. I was waiting maybe for a roughing the passer penalty, but it didn't happen. The referee was right on it. Justin Smith let Hodge have it after he let go of that ball. Time for our Aflac trivia question. When was the last time Nebraska lost 2 home games in the same season? Think it over. We'll give you an answer a little bit later on. Now it's a big 3rd down and 6 coming up.
He had Drum, the fullback was open, but he just couldn't set his feet to throw the football.
Now the crowd getting into it. Here comes the pressure. Got it from behind. Let's see, was that a pass? I think it was.
He rules it a pass.
His arm was moving, but again, it was Laney Hopkins coming around the corner.
Hopkins is number 40. There's another red shirt inside of him. 17 is Hollowell, but Hopkins knocks it away. He's not a defensive end, he's a linebacker. Pressure on the quarterback. I like that theory.
And you got to watch out for Hopkins too when you're punting, because he's a guy that can get to a kicker. Remember, Mariscal's been pressured pretty well once today already. This time they back off if they want to return on with DeJuan Gross, and DeJuan's got to take it over his shoulder at the 20 and goes all the way back to the 12, trying to give ground to gain ground, and runs out of real estate. Oh, he took a big shot. That's going to be a personal foul. That's going to be a personal foul.
That's just silly there.
I think it was Brandon Drum coming down, the starting fullback on the special teams, who hit him when he'd already gotten to the sideline. We'll take another look.
He's out of bounds right now.
Foul on the defense, 15 yards, first down.
See, Drum is normally a fullback. You know, he's blocking. He's used to blocking guys, not tackling them. Well, he's only about 3 yards out of bounds when he hits him.
All 3 Colorado penalties have been on their special teams. So that's going to give Nebraska a good field position out near the 43-yard line.
Drum is a 5th-year senior. That's not a mistake that a 5th-year senior should make. There's a good cop, bad cop. The one coach was balling him out. Gary Barnett now comes over and says, hey, all right, you made a mistake. Now let's see you do some good blocking and receiving the rest of the game.
From the 43, Darren Diedrich, and he's swarmed under by the Colorado defense. He'll lose a couple. Gabe Nineheis has had a good start from his defensive end spot.
You know, we talked about the strengths and weaknesses of these offenses and defenses, and the offenses, what we've seen is going to be true. You're going to have to throw the football to move it. We've had 2 touchdowns scored in this game, both through the air. We mentioned that both the offenses running are in the top 6th in the nation, and in passing, they're 100 or worse. But how do we have our points? We have 2 passing touchdowns.
There's the numbers.
It's because
so far.
The defense is so stacked to stop the run. You got a lot of opportunities to throw it outside.
They fake the end around, they fake the draw, and Lloyd goes up the middle. I'm not sure that one worked quite like they drew it up.
No. He's going to fake it, then he wanted to try an option, but there was just too much penetration. The guy that blew that play up, the guy that blew that play, Bird, number 92, was in the backfield, untouched.
Third down and 11. Straight drop and now a roll for Lord, who wants to throw on the run. He's going to tuck it and take off. Didn't get there. Way short of the first down. Picked up about 4 yards on the scramble. And so Nebraska doesn't do much with the opportunity after the personal foul on the punt return, and they're going to have to give it up themselves.
This game is turning into the defensive battle that last year's game was supposed to be.
That's right.
It's strange how when one team starts scoring, it says, all right, if that's the type of game, we're going to score a lot of points too.
Everybody sort of thought that last year, and then they ended up with over 1,100 yards of offense in the game. Booming kick, too much into the end zone, and Colorado will work from the 20-yard line. So Larson with a wind at his back kicks it deep. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you, nothing's better. Dr. Pepper. And the people of Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate. 9 minutes, 4 seconds remaining. Colorado from its own 20-yard line. A handoff to Purify, and Bobby Purify got a couple. John Clanton in on the tackle. Last year we talked about the 62-36 comparison. First half, 65 points in the first half last year.
That's combined. Today, 114 and 304 yards. About half. A little less than that.
This one's also shaping up as one of those field position things with the punch going back and forth. 2nd down 7. The fullback was in motion. He'll lead the way and got a good block, and Purify got the corner, and he got a first down. So when you said that Gary Barnett said to Brandon Drum, now go out and throw some good blocks, he came in motion there, and he sealed off the whole side.
He did. Number 33. Right there getting the block, and he going looking for another one. That's going to motivate Drum the rest of the game.
Yep.
No question.
It's got his drum beaten right now, I think, a little bit. The 34, first down. Colorado with a first down, and Hackett, the wide receiver, in motion. Hyde rolling to his right. Wide open is McCoy. Nobody on it. And he'll have another first down, and he's out to midfield and then some. Somebody didn't stay home over there for Derek McCoy. There was no one within 10 yards of it.
It's a little rollout. McCoy, number 80, comes in and then goes back to the outside. He's right here. He had lined up here. He came in and went back to the outside. That's a nice play that's been working all afternoon.
First down at the 49. So Colorado's back in Nebraska territory. Just under 8 minutes in the half. Tie game and no gain for Bobby Purify. Scott Shanley, the outside linebacker, made the stop. .54 yards on the ground for Purify so far. There's the passing numbers of Robert Hodge.
Most of those have been outside the pocket. He does a nice job of getting outside the pocket, get the timing right, moving the ball around, and taking care of the ball. If you don't throw it for a completion, don't throw it up for grabs.
Hodge play action, look out. Got around one man, trying to pick up what he can. Great pressure came from Trevor Johnson, and that adjusted that entire play. Johnson doesn't make the tackle, but he's the one that blew it up.
Well, he saved himself. He's going to come from over on this side. Watch as he's going to rush the passer. Hodge escapes. That's just a nice job of being aware that there's a guy coming, breathing down your neck. Saved about 8 or 9 yards on that little escape.
So big third down here for both teams. Colorado trying to continue their offensive march. And they're only 1 out of 5, though, on third down conversions. Penalty markers on the play. And everybody's pointing fingers. Looked like Raleigh King, the tackle, moved.
False start.
And it is false start against Colorado. Gary Barnett in his 4th year as a head coach at Colorado after his successful stint at Northwestern. Scott Frost, he was a good one. Went on to play in the NFL as a defensive back.
What was that sign he gave? Was that a hook 'em horn sign?
I don't know. He wouldn't get away with that here, would he?
No.
Hodge on a quarterback draw, whether by design or not. It's what it became. And again, Colorado will have to kick. P.J. Hollowell made the play. Guy that we said is the best punter in the country. He's getting plenty of action so far today. 3 punts already.
Look at that average, and he's been kicking into the wind on at least 2 out of 3.
No rush on him this time. He tries to let up on this one a little bit to try to keep it in the field of play and can't. Still got to the end zone. Touchback. He's upset with himself. Wanted to keep it down in the corner and couldn't. So Nebraska works from the 20 with 5.5 minutes to go when we come back. All right, John, here it's tied at 7 with 5:32 remaining in the half. 6 possessions so far for Nebraska, 4 of them starting at their own 20. But they get a quick 5 out of Aaron Diedrich, who's had a good game. Walrus, the linebacker, made the stop. Here's what Nebraska has done with the ball so far today.
5 possessions, 3 punts. Got the touchdown on their 4th possession of the game. Just took 1 play, the 80-yarder. And 1 interception.
First pass they threw today was intercepted. Horn back in at the tailback spot. On the option, Lord on the keeper, and he's got the first down. Marcus Harris made the stop, but Jamal got past the 30-yard line, and they'll move the chains. 30 yards on the ground for Jamal Lord, and they're working on Bobby Purify on the sideline. So already down a Chris Brown. Their number 2 tailback is ailing. That would put a lot of pressure on Marcus Houston.
Yeah, and Marcus Houston
has been injured most of the year.
Yeah, he's been out for most of the games. Healthy now, though.
First down, Nebraska from its own 31. Play action. The throw's complete. The same guy they went play action to last time, Harrion. Last time it was a touchdown. This time it's a first down.
For as few times as number 42 Harrion is in the ball game, I mean, they must throw him the ball 75% of the time that he's in. And if we know that, you know that Colorado's aware of it.
And he apparently is good enough, though, and can get open. And he's 6'4". They know he's going to grow. He's going to be a tight end type of receiver. He's only about 215 now, but if anybody in the country knows that guys are going to get bigger, the Nebraska people do.
Oh, yeah.
So they're really high on Harrion. And Lord is slow to get up. And he's all right, apparently. Trots back to the huddle after picking up about 7. Trivia question: when was the last time Nebraska lost 2 home games in the same season? We'll give you the answer after this play. Well, I guess we just gave you the answer. That didn't do much good, did it? Davies up the middle. Been 22 years. They lost to Florida State and Oklahoma in Tom Osborne's 1980 season. That's the last time. There's been a couple of home losses. We mentioned earlier that Texas snapped a 26-game winning streak here earlier, and now Nebraska trying to avoid those 2 losses here at home in playing this Colorado game. Timeout with 3 minutes, 51 seconds remaining in the first half. Tied at 7.
Log on to bcsfootball.com and vote now for your favorite tailgate in the Dodge BCS Tailgate Challenge. You can end up tailgating this year at the Nokia Sugar Bowl with Dodge.
Back in Lincoln with 3:51 remaining in the half. 7-7 Colorado and Nebraska. First down for the Cornhuskers at the Buffalo's 39-yard line. Horns the tailback. It's the fullback Davies who broke a tackle. Here he goes, the big fella down the sideline, inside the 20. Judd Davies, all 255 pounds of him, knocked somebody over and then got a head of steam, and he was tough to bring down.
Fullbacks in this game will be key. Right up the middle. On the option, the fullback is the first guy you have to stop. Nobody touches him. Does a nice little spin move and then has some speed to get around the end.
Penalty markers before the next snap. That run by Davies, 23 yards, was his longest of the year.
Ball start offense, 5 yards.
And it'll back Nebraska up 5 yards. So they're going to be outside the 20.
Bob and Brad, just to give you an update on Bobby Purify at Colorado. It's a sprained right ankle to go along with his sprained right knee. They're going to tape it up over 3:35 here in the second quarter. More than likely, they'll reevaluate him when he gets back into the locker room at halftime.
There's which one he's talking about.
That's
shoe and socks off.
That's the only problem with losing your first running back is if you have any other injuries to that position.
Again, they run what they were hoping would appear to be an end around, and then Lord keeps it. And somewhere during the game, they're going to run that thing, and he's going to pitch it.
Well, that's a play they've tried to run a couple of times, and because it's so slow developing, look at all the receivers, look at all the people coming in off the bench for Nebraska. 3 or 4 or 5 guys coming in and going out on every play. But the speed and quickness of Colorado has not allowed that play to develop until then.
8th play of the drive, 2nd down and 9. And again, Lord keeps it. And when he's on that inside pocket area, there's just no place for him to hide. Marcus Harris made the stop that time.
Harris is a smallish defensive end. He's only 6'2" and 230. He's a defensive end. Used to be a defensive back, but he's got the quickness. But the closer you get to the goal line, offenses have to expect defenses to be more aggressive, do more blitzing, take more chances.
Nebraska takes another timeout. They're down to 1 with 2 minutes 38 seconds remaining in the half. Gives us a chance to take a look at our Dodge defensive playbook.
Yeah, when an offensive lineman pulls, like this lineman is going to pull and go this way, the defensive lineman is taught you go following. Now watch this. When the offensive lineman pulls, the defensive lineman's going to trail him. Now look what happens. He blows everything up. Now what's happening? The guy that covers up for him, the linebacker right on the outside, he covers up for him, and nobody has anywhere to run. Now everybody is so now all the blocking assignments on the inside by the offensive lineman are all fouled up. The defensive playbook says if your lineman pulls and you're a defensive lineman, you follow it because a linebacker is going to be taking care of your responsibility.
And that's what Walters did to make the tackle on the other side. So now it's 3rd down and long. Nebraska's had a chance to talk it over. 3rd down and 12. Keep in mind, Harrian's in there. We have to tell you every time 42's in the lineup.
Right here.
Lord flips it out to Diedrich on a swing pass out of the backfield. And there's just too many white jerseys there that stretch that play out. There's only a gain of 2 or 3. And so now this is going to be interesting. Remember,
now
there's a brand new kicker.
Yeah.
Now he kicked 3 field goals at Friends College in Wichita, Kansas.
What's that now? Where's that?
Friends College. I assume Matthew Perry and all those guys were there with him. I don't know. But anyway, he'll make friends for life if he hits his field goal, I guess. He hit his extra point. He knocked his kickoff through the end zone.
Here's Josh.
Josh Brown can only look on. Josh suspended for this game. If you just joined us, we mentioned it earlier. This is a 33-yard field goal attempt by a guy that's never kicked one before. Got it.
Look at this.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. He went to get the tee for him to kick off.
That's pretty good. Endorf from 33.
I'll tell you what, making that first extra point helped him a lot.
The kick is...
That's solid.
Yeah, that's solid. That's right down Main Street, Lincoln. Josh says we'll take it. 10-7, Nebraska. And the winner of that one gets Georgia in the Georgia Dome next weekend for the SEC Championship. Josh Brown is coaching. He's cheerleading. He's not playing today. You know he'd like to. Final game at home. But his understudy's doing pretty good. This is a short kick to the 13. Jeremy Bloom, look out for this guy. Best speed on Colorado's team. Down the sideline, and Nebraska runs him out of bounds. But he got on the Nebraska side of the 50.
This was not a good kick. He's kicking with about a 25, 30 mile an hour wind behind him. And this went down about the 15-yard line. Jeremy Bloom, the true freshman, whom Gary Barnett says we have to find ways to get the ball to number 15, Jerry B. Bloom.
The day after the Big 12 championship that you'll see on ABC next week, he heads to the World Cup as a skier. You think he's not a pretty good athlete?
He's kind of crazy, though, because he skis mogul.
Yeah, he is crazy. There's no doubt about that. Pickup of a couple. And that's Marcus Houston now, the number 3 tailback. Our Pacific Life game summary on a perfect play action. It was Hodge to Derek McCoy, 40-yard touchdown. That gave Colorado the lead. But in much similar fashion, Harrion on a pass from Jamal Lord. Good for the touchdown to even it up. And then the field goal of just a few moments ago gave Nebraska the lead. First field goal ever for number 32 came from 33. And we're at 10-7 with a minute 22 left in the half. Gary Barnett's club won 7 of its last 8. They're the Big 12 North champions, and they'll be playing Oklahoma in the Big 12 title game next weekend.
You know, he's won titles 7 in 3 of the last 7 years. 2 years he was at Northwestern, and winning a championship in the Big 10 at Northwestern was probably doing a lot more than winning the championship last year in the Big 12.
There you see his numbers. 3 conference titles in the last 7 years, and those back-to-back Big 10 seasons led to a Rose Bowl and a Citrus Bowl. Good coach. Gary joined us last night for part of our Thanksgiving celebration with our whole crew. Came in, said a few words on the mic with Swanee, our MC last night. 2nd down and 8. Comes a blitz. On Hodge, in trouble. They had the right play call, but there's just too many red jerseys in the way. They wanted to throw a screen to Brian Calhoun.
Nebraska with a little one-man blitz. Hollowell from the outside put pressure on Hodge, and he couldn't wait any longer. He had to get rid of it. On the right side of your screen, number 17.
Colorado only 1 for 6 on their 3rd down conversions today. Here's a 3rd and 8. Stunt going on the front. Throws incomplete. Nice play defensively by Fabian Washington, as Monte was the intended receiver, and Washington, the guy that got picked on that touchdown pass, was there to break it up.
One of the weaknesses in this Nebraska defense is all of the young players that they have in their secondary. Washington is a true freshman. McPherson is a young guy. The 2 Bullock brothers are playing for the first time. They're redshirt freshmen. Bland is a 2nd-year sophomore, so a lot of young players. Not many people throw at the other side at Dewan Gross.
Looks like Nebraska's got the return on, and they don't pressure Mariscal. This time he keeps it in the field of play, but he'd like to have that one again, probably. It does bounce out of bounds, though, inside the 15-yard line. So that's where Nebraska will work. Field position, field position, field position. That's what's been going on here today. Coming up a week from tomorrow, don't miss a great college football triple-header. At 1 o'clock, Virginia Tech and Miami, presented by AT&T. At 4:30 Eastern, Washington State battles UCLA. And then at 8 o'clock, Oklahoma and Colorado in the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. It's all December 7th on ABC. We're going to see if Miami can find a way. Of course, they've still got to get by Syracuse.
They got to win 2 games before they get to the championship game in Tempe.
Coming up at halftime, Capital One halftime show. John Terry will be along. Nebraska with Horn at tailback. He got, looks like, almost 10. Sorrell made the stop from the secondary. So we're under a minute. Remember, Nebraska used a couple of their timeouts earlier in this half, so they're down to 1. And they took a look at that over on the sidelines. It's going to be 2nd down and inches. And the clock continues to run. Crowd here getting anxious. They're saying, hurry up offense,
yeah,
hurry up offense.
They want this offense to use the clock, and this offense is not made to use that clock at this time of the game.
No, they don't get the first down either.
No, they can't. They're not good at throwing. They just as soon let the clock run out and go into halftime.
Take that field goal lead and head to the locker room with a halftime advantage. In a game where
Colorado takes a timeout.
Colorado takes their last timeout. They're trying to force a punt and maybe get Bloom a chance to touch another one before intermission. Colorado trying to win 2 games back-to-back years against Nebraska for the first time since the 89 and 90 seasons. After last year's win in Boulder, and they're down 3 here in the first half. Nebraska, when they came into this game, they have so many different streaks on the line. The longest consecutive winning season streak belongs to Notre Dame back in yesteryear, 42. So they're trying to get up to number 41 in consecutive winning seasons. They're trying to get to another 9-win season. If they could win this game and win their bowl game, they'd be able to do that. And then finishing the season ranked in the top 25, it's been 33 straight years. The last time that they lost 5 games in a season, Mrs. Hanrahan was telling me not to eat paste in kindergarten. You know what I mean? It was 1961. I didn't listen to her that well, but that's how long ago it was.
Yeah.
41 years.
That was the year before Bob Devaney took over the Husky program.
Jamal Lord just going to tuck this one down and pick up the first down. And once they move the sticks, that will probably just about do it for the first half. Colorado took that timeout hoping they could stop that short yardage situation and maybe force a kick, but it isn't going to happen, so everybody's going to unhook the headsets, head to the locker room. The sellout crowd for the 256th straight home game sees their Nebraska team surprisingly leading Colorado 10-7. And surprisingly, I say that because it's a field goal. It's the difference. The guy that's never kicked one before is the difference in the ball game so far. Let's head down to Swanee.
Well, Coach, first half, your young kicker who hasn't came through for you. Your defense is playing really tough. Yeah. My question for you is, in the second half, the offense seems to need more balls in the air. The teams are having a little more difficulty running the football.
Yeah, well, you know, the bottom line is both teams had one big play in the game. Other than that, it's been a battle for field position. When you have the win, the opportunity to throw it a little bit more is certainly there. And right now, you know, we have 163 yards rushing, 98 passing. We've only threw it a few times, 1 interception. We're not going to fill it with the air with the football, but we will try to mix it up, see what we can get done offensively.
Coach, thank you very much. Good luck.
All right, Swanee, Frank, halftime, 10-7 is our halftime score. Nebraska out in front. And while Bob and I go back and see if we can find some leftover turkey somewhere in the booth, we'll send it back to Times Square Stadium. Capital One halftime show. John and Terry, fellas.
Brad, our leftovers already all gone in this one. You heard Frank Solich talk about it. You expect everything on the ground, but for some reason they've had to go to the air attack, both teams.
Well, these are two of the best rushing teams in the country, and the defenses are key to stopping the run. The quarterbacks have capitalized. Touchdown pass from either team.
All right, when we come back, we'll look at the SEC and the Big 12 earlier today. It's all coming up on the Capital One halftime show after this message and a word from our ABC stations. That pie seems to get smaller and smaller as the day goes on.
I didn't eat anything. I didn't.
Colorado already knows they're facing Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game next week here on ABC. Does that change how they approach this game, especially with some backs banged up a bit?
Yeah, not your game plan, but you got to hurt Chris Brown. He might play if this had to be won to win the championship, but you hold him out. If you got to have him next week, play him in the Big 12 championship. Don't play him today.
You like what Frank Solich was talking about as far as passing the football and running the football as well. It should be a good second half. Stick around. We will continue with more. We, of course, will keep you up to date on what's going on in the SEC. But right now, let's go back out to Brad Nessler.
We're looking out for underprivileged children across Nebraska. Please welcome Tom and Nancy Osberg.
The former head coach of the Huskers and his wife Nancy honored for their role in establishing the Teammates Mentoring Program here. It started about 11 years ago. So the old coach is in the house, and his team is leading 10-7 over Colorado at halftime. Mutual. A defensive battle going on in Lincoln, Nebraska. Not the first time we've seen that happen. Last year, all kinds of points in offense. Now as we get set to head into the third quarter, 10-7, the Cornhuskers lead. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy back with you. I think Frank summed it up pretty well with Swanee, Bob. They're doing about what they want to do, 250 yards of offense. They lead.
2 big plays in the ball game, 2 pass plays in the ball game. Both offenses get their main strength from running, but 2 big pass plays, 2 touchdowns, and that's where we are.
They started with a running game and got it going well with Darren Diedrich, and he kind of set the tone a little bit with his early carries, as he's got 57 of their rushing yards so far in the ball game. But when they did all that, it set up the play action pass that ended up being the touchdown. Diedrich, good work out of the backfield as both a receiver and a runner. And the guy that has given him the lead, Dale Endorf, his first career field goal is the difference in the ball game. 10-7. He's got it teed up. His last kick was short, and Bloom had a pretty good return on it. This one much better. He got all of this one. Almost knocked it out of the end zone. Let's check in with Lynn.
Coach Barnett, and he's telling me that Bobby Purify may not be available to his ball club in the second half. So look for number 21, Marcus Houston, a sophomore, and possibly a freshman, number 2, Brian Calhoun. That would be a lot for them to handle. He felt like they were playing pretty good football, missed some opportunities in the first half, so look for him to stay the course with his game plan in the second half.
And Bobby is trying to stay warmed up on that stationary bike on the sideline, but it is Houston. They fake it to him and go to McCoy. And fumble! Who's got this one? McCoy coughed it up. Nebraska's got it. Demario Williams, who's been all over the fields in the right place at the right time here.
You come out fired up after halftime. You want to do things right. Colorado little play action. You complete the pass. This is not what you're thinking about doing. He doesn't even see. That's
Williams almost took it right out of his hands.
Washington, number 3, that knocked it loose. Didn't even see him coming up.
So in the red zone immediately, and it's Jamal Lord. And that play hasn't worked all day long. Got about a yard. Our Pacific Life statistics in our game summary at halftime. Nebraska with 153 yards on the ground. Neither team lightened it up with the pass, but as Bob said, there were 2 big pass plays. They were both touchdowns.
Yeah, third down conversions. Nobody is doing anything. Stats don't really mean much right here.
You see also
a lot of defense.
Starting position on both teams, their own 24-yard line. It's become a battle of field position and punts.
Nebraska with the 1 interception.
Penalty is on Nebraska. It was a personal foul against the Cornhuskers that backs them all the way out near the 31-yard line.
It's Garrison, number 52, who had the takedown. Oh, no, there it is right there.
It's always the second guy that
That's
gets
incognito,
caught.
51.
Well, he isn't anymore.
Yeah.
Back to throw. Here's Lord looking for somewhere to hide.
Now, when it's over, just get down. Don't try to make things worse.
Harris and Wilder make the stop. And Gabe Nineheis is slow to get up. He's had a good ball game. Nebraska in the first half, their first pass was intercepted after they punted on their first series, and then they got it down Colorado territory, and Phil Jackson had a great interception, and then a punt, and then the touchdown, an 80-yard one-play drive on that play-action pass to Harrion.
Right here, they had the ball 7 times, punted it 3 times, 1 interception, got the 2 scores.
Nineheis comes off. He's a tough one, so he's in some pain. We'll see if he comes back out there. Meanwhile, it's 3rd down and 24. So Nebraska's going the wrong way after the fumble recovery. Lord steps up in the pocket, fires too far in front of Harrion, the intended receiver.
No question that Matt Harrion is their go-to guy, the freshman tight end. You know, and you can't run for over 1,000 yards like Jamal Lord can and hit a guy crossing the field 25 yards downfield. He's just not that good a thrower.
Dale Endorf. Frank Solich is going to give him a shot at a long field goal.
Downwind.
He does have the wind at his back. This will be a 48-yard field goal attempt. He hit from 33, but remember, this is the first Division I football game he's ever played in. He's got an extra point. He's got a field goal. The snap's low. The kick's on the way. And he got it. The making of a cult figure maybe in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Can you believe this? This is unbelievable.
A storybook day so far for Dale Endorf. And Josh Brown's reaction and Frank Solich on the sideline. I got a kicker. It's 13-7. Dale Endorf, he'll be the end all if Nebraska wins this game. And now the ball blows off the tee as he approaches it for the kickoff. Let's go back. Watch what Chrisman does. The snap's not good. He somehow got the hold there. And then Swanee, you're on the field. Take it from there.
Well, what happened, the wind just came up, and he just popped this baby up into the air, just got it in that good breeze, and that wind carried it through the uprights.
Well, it's a great feeling for a field goal kicker when you have that wind behind you, because all you have to do is just get it up and get it on line and let it go downstream.
And here's kickoff is downstream and too deep to be returned again. Third touchback on a kickoff.
I love it.
And Josh Brown, the normal kicker who's suspended from this game today, the senior, you think he's not happy for the guy that's taken his spot?
I love that. And little Frankie Solich. Little Frankie Solich was jumping up and down on the sideline like I've never seen him. That's good stuff.
That is. So now Colorado will have to work from the 20 again. Nobody's gotten great field position out of much of anything, with the exception of that fumble recovery by Demario Williams did turn into a field goal. Otherwise, you got to earn your medal today. Everybody's trying to go 80 yards, it seems like, every time. And here's Marcus Houston. And the guy that's going to have to be the main back, apparently, as Swanee told us, Purify was down there on the stationary bike trying to stay warm. He still may play. Chris Brown, the #3 rusher in the country, not playing, not even in uniform. This is the guy that took his spot. He's on a bad ankle. And now they're down to #3.
So now you're down to #3. And a couple of years ago, the offense for Buffalo, the future was Craig Oaks and Marcus Houston.
Yeah.
Both of these guys came in big-time high school stars.
Play action. Hodge on the roll. Throws complete. Nice throw to Bo Williams, his tight end.
And very quickly, the strength of the Buffalo offense, which had been that power physical inside game, is now turning to Hodge and the receivers. Got a little roll out here. Nice play action. Houston gets a piece of one of the defensive linemen.
Yes, he did.
Now look what he sees right here. This is what he sees. He has to throw it over this guy's head. Does a nice job of just laying it in there.
First catch by a tight end on the day for Colorado. They've had great tight ends in past years, that's for sure. They like to use them. Here's Houston now on the ground, and Demario Williams. Not much is getting by #7 today. We showed you Nebraska's first half possessions. Here's Colorado's, all punts with the exception of that touchdown throw to Derek McCoy.
The one time, the good punt return by Jeremy Bloom that they got across the 50-yard line, didn't do anything with it.
Here they've got a 2nd down and 9 from their own 34-yard line. And now Calhoun is in there at tailback, and he's a freshman. McCoy will cross the field in motion. They'll give it to Calhoun, straight up the middle. And Calhoun breaks it out almost to the first down marker. Josh Bullock's made the stop. Calhoun out of Oak Creek, Wisconsin.
How'd he get out of Wisconsin?
I don't know how Barry let him out of there.
Yeah. There's a blocking up front. That offensive line doing a nice job. 74 is great. Lucier, Hage, and Bates also involved. This is 4th and short, and it looks like they're going to go to the line of scrimmage.
There's tailback #1 in a sweatsuit. 2 fullbacks in there on 3rd down and a yard. But it's Hodge who does the honors with a quarterback sneak, and he's got the first down.
You know what that? Well, I'm thinking of Gary Barnett on the sideline with that call. He says, well, I've got the Big 12 North wrapped up. It's in my pocket. I'm already going to the championship game next week. This game, even if I do lose, it doesn't mean anything. I think I take a chance. I mean, they would love to win this ball game. Make no mistake about it. But with Chris Brown injured and with Purify injured, he's going to let those guys sit on the sideline, get ready for next week's game, and get through this game with the backs that he has.
Last year they won the Big 12 championship, beating Texas 39-37. They'll get another crack at a different opponent, Oklahoma. That'll be next week right here on ABC as McCoy goes for about 9 more yards. DeMario Williams ran him out of bounds.
Complete to number 80, Derek McCoy.
And of course, Swanee talked a little bit with Gary before the game about what this one meant. He talked with us about that.
Well, it's conceivable we might not play well enough to win it, but it's not conceivable that we would sell this game short. It's almost an insult to think that we would, or even be asked that we would, and we have. You know, mostly by media, and mostly by people that maybe don't quite understand what this game means to our team or what this game means to our program, and what it means to competitors.
Calhoun gets a first down, and really, and Gary Barnett has said this. He said, you know, I don't know if this thing was a great rivalry until last year. It sort of became a rivalry because he said, I think Nebraska's always looked at us as more of a little bit of a pain in the butt than a big rival, quite frankly. Yeah. Bill McCartney's the guy that started all this in the early 80s. He made Colorado and Nebraska. He said, that's the game we want to win.
It's the red letter day.
Red letter day.
Yeah. So we want to head toward that game. I'm impressed as can be with Gary Barnett. I like everything about him. He's done a great job at Northwestern, and he's done a great job here.
Faking the end around, and Calhoun breaks it, and he almost took it. Tripped up as he got inside the 35-yard line. 9 more yards for number 2. So, as Lynn told us, we'd see Marcus Houston and we'd see Brian Calhoun, and now it's Calhoun doing the honors.
Well, the blocking up front. Now, let me say something. Let me understand. Let's see. Chris Brown, he was running good. He ain't playing. And then Bobby Purify, he was running good. He ain't playing. Now they put a true freshman, and they continue to run. What does that tell you?
I think that line's pretty good.
I think that offensive line's doing a heck of a job.
I do too. The Big Eaters. Second down a yard. 2 tight ends set. Hodge play action. Pump fake. Wants it all. Going to the corner. Incomplete. Intended for Monte.
Well, they thought they'd throw it Gross one time.
Yeah, might as well just to see if he was awake.
If he was awake. Just see if you're over there, you know. And he was. 3rd and short. Now coming up, but Gross was
equal to the task.
Yeah, one of the top corners coming out this year.
Got 4 interceptions, 3 punt return touchdowns. Excuse me, Swanee.
Guys, they threw the whole package at them. They had the quarterback, you know, pump faking it. They had the receiver running double moves on them. If they're going to go after him, they're going to use the whole kitchen sink.
They couldn't get him.
9 guys up in the box right here. On 3rd down and short. And outside goes the fullback. And Drum down the sideline. He's got a first down, and he's bounced out at about the 23-yard line. Drum's not a small fullback either. We talked quite a bit about Nebraska's, but he's a big hoss out of Anchorage, Alaska.
The guard's going to pull right here, and he's going to try and block out for him, but Drum's going to say, I don't want to run inside, I'm going outside. Then he had a chance to cut back again and says, I'm going outside where I can get out of bounds here.
Down to the 23 where it's first down.
Good drive right here. Need to convert this.
11th play of the drive already, Bob. And a first down. Calhoun puts his head down, got buried. Bland came up from the secondary, put a pop on him. And Bland's had a good game. His dad, Richard, played safety in Colorado in the early 70s. So you don't think the Bland family's going through one of those deals today?
Yeah, they're from over there, just outside of Denver, I believe.
Yep. Lafayette, Colorado is Phil's hometown. He's had a good ball game. He and DeMario Williams been all over the field. Second down. They've run it 8 times of their 11 so far. 12th play is a 2nd and 5. And we're down to 8:45 in the 3rd. Trailing by 6. Colorado trying to change that scoreboard. Nice play action. Here's Hodge. This has been his favorite play, but he'll keep it this time. He won't get the first down, though.
See, he's not quite the runner that Jamal Lord is. I thought he could have cut back to the inside there and could have picked up some more room. Everything was covered. He did the right thing. This is the thing that's been killing Nebraska all along. Now look at the coverage here. Got this man's coverage, and here's coverage. If he could have just cut back to the inside, right to the left there,
There's a bunch of green there.
There's some room there.
But he didn't cut back enough. Yeah. And he didn't cut back at all. You're right. Now they've been 2 for 2 on the 3rd downs on this drive. Here's a 3rd and 3. Fans coming to life for the defense. The toss to Calhoun on the corner, and he's
I like this
first down.
Yeah, I like this kid.
Williams made the tackle, but Calhoun's got something working here.
Wasn't Calhoun the guy that was in practice earlier this week? That you know, with the freshmen and sophomores, the guys that don't get to play a lot.
Yeah.
And he just tore up the reserves. And Gary had to get him out of practice because he was just he was tearing everybody up. So he just pulled him out.
Bobby Purify now has come back in with Colorado in the red zone. First and goal at the 9.
He's a good pass blocker, Purify. Right there.
Well, he got one on Kelsey. Good call, Bob. Hodge throws, complete at about the 3 or 2 yard line. And he got it over to Donahoe. Let's check in with John in New York.
Georgia waits the winner of this game in the SEC. LSU with a 17-7 lead, but Fred Talley, what a terrific run. Looked like he could have been stopped in the backfield, then through the secondary, then opens up some speed, gets a good block right there, and takes it in for the touchdown. Arkansas now within 3. Brad.
All right, John, and Colorado's looking for a touchdown. That would tie the game and give them a chance to lead. Second down and goal at the 2 yard line. Purify behind his fullback, and he waltzes for the touchdown. Nobody over there to bring him down, and Purify's in the end zone.
That was a great drive right there.
Was it ever? How many plays did that go? 13?
That was a great drive. When you go down
15, excuse me.
Yeah, you come out, and the opening drive of the second half, you made a fumble on the first play. The other team kicks a field goal, and you take the ensuing kickoff and just say, all right, we're going down. That doesn't bother us. We're going to tie this game up.
And Brome comes in to try to give them the lead. Tie game with the extra point pending. Brome's 35 out of 38 on extra points, so he has had a couple miscues this year, but this one is perfect. So Colorado takes the lead. Purify, who hadn't played at all in that drive, came in the final 2 plays, took it the final 2 yards. Colorado with the lead. There's Bieniemy looking on. The running back coach who's running back, Bobby Purify, came back in late in that 15-play drive and packed it in from 2 yards out.
That tells us good news about Bobby Purify, not hurt that badly.
Right.
Maybe can run straight ahead, but maybe not doing a lot of the cutting moves.
Here's the kickoff. Josh Davis is finally going to get his hands on one from the 7. Good kick returner. He got cartwheeled, though, as he crossed the 25 out by the 28-yard line.
Tripped up on the play by number 5.
They're just going to run to the right side here. Just a little. That's Lucier, number 78, right here, that gets a good ceiling block, and 33 is Drum. He doesn't have anybody to block.
Drum didn't have to touch anybody.
I'm looking, but I can't find anybody. You know what the other thing about that drive was, Big? Into the wind.
Right.
They took it into the wind, and it took a lot of the time that Nebraska has going to have with the wind in this quarter away from them.
So now Nebraska down by a point with the ball back at its own 27-yard line.
Harry's down the middle.
Sacked. And is Masani on a safety blitz. First sack of the day.
And they had the tight end Harry down the middle. There's Masani right there, number 12.
Masani's basically a combination strong safety linebacker type.
Yeah.
He's got great speed, as you saw him coming around the corner.
To Goai, number 55, a little slow in getting out, but they had the tight end Harry down the middle.
Now they're going to work from the shotgun. Haven't done it much today. Quarterback draw. And Masani again makes the tackle. And the fans don't like that call. You can hear some of the booing in the background. Anytime Lord's not out on the corner on the edge, he's not a very effective runner, at least hasn't been today on the inside.
Well, the first 2 defensive plays here on this drive, Colorado has just come after him with blitzes, safety, and the outside linebackers also. So there aren't many lanes in there to run.
This is those situations you don't want to get in. 3rd down and a mile. 3rd and 23. 3 wide receivers. 4th time Nebraska's been in a 3rd down and 10 or longer situation. And look out from behind. Ball is loose. Colorado. Nope. It's still loose.
I think Nebraska finally fell on it.
Bodies flying and that football flying out of there like a wet bar of soap. And finally, Tagovailoa, the guy we just talked about a couple minutes ago, the guard, got on top of it. Marcus Harris is the guy that made the play.
He's a small defensive end. Keeps going. His motor's running. Fumble. It's on the ground.
Boy,
Colorado should have had it. Just fall on it. Don't try to pick it up and run with it.
Brayton tried to scoop it up. Otherwise, they'd have had it for sure. Now they're forcing a punt, though, from the end zone from Kyle Larson. And that means Bloom should have a chance at the other end. We'll look in from behind Larson. Nice kick. Bloom's got to really hustle, and now he has to let it go because it takes a Colorado bounce, and a good one, all the way up to the 47-yard line. So good field position for Colorado. They lead the ball game with just under 5 minutes to go, third quarter. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Cadillac. Bold vehicles defying convention. Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Cold down easy. The new Nokia 7210 with color screen. Nokia connecting people. And Chili's like no place else. Colorado comes out with great field position now. They'll work from the 48-yard line. Their own. Calhoun, the freshman, stays in there at tailback. He did most of the work on the last drive before Purify finished it off. Here he is again. Broke a tackle. Cut back. One man to beat. Here goes Calhoun down the sideline. And Bland knocks him out of bounds, or he would have scored all the way to the 17-yard line.
I know they got Ralphie the Buffalo, but how about the stable of horses for Colorado?
I guess so.
Take a look up front. Watch the line blocking for Colorado. Just straight blocking.
This one's just a Colt that's running here.
Yeah. Runs around Shanley, number 43. This is great field position right here.
75 yards on 7 carries for Brian Calhoun. Now back to Purify. Go with the young guy and then the experience, and they get to the 15-yard line, a pickup of a couple.
Your Bobby Purify has played. There's a look at the Grosh is slow in getting up.
Oh boy. I don't know if he's favoring his right shoulder. It's kind of hard to tell. He's going right back down. A key ingredient in not only the secondary for Nebraska, but as a punt returner, one of the more dangerous guys in the country. A lot of people think that he'll show up on some All-American teams in both those positions.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a stinger. It looked like he was dangling his right shoulder a little bit. Big 12 player of the week twice this season.
Yeah, third in nation in the punt returns with a little over 18.8 yards per return and 3 touchdowns.
2 of them against Troy State. And here he is. He's going to be part of the tackle, or trying to be. And got that lead left arm around maybe. Had to really reach for it. Kind of hard to tell.
I think something else happened after we didn't see him. Maybe a stinger.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking. Second down 7. Calhoun's back in at tailback again with a 2 tight end set. Here comes number 2. Got a block. Looking for the corner. And he's got the first down. It's 1st and goal inside the 5. Now let's see if they come back with Purify. That's what they did last time. Calhoun did all the dirty work on a 15-play drive, at least 13 of the plays, and then Purify did the rest.
The right guard, I think it's Lucier, number 78, pulls and gets out in front of him. And Calhoun says, I know you're trying to get me to go inside, but I'm jumping outside. Lucier, I flew out here from Chicago with his parents. They're from New Hampshire.
Is that right?
I said, how did you get from New Hampshire to Colorado? He said, well, we went through Northwestern. We were at Northwestern for a while, and when Barnett left, Lucier followed him out here.
Here comes Purify now inside the 5, and he puts his head down and almost got there, down to the 1-yard line. Josh Bullocks and Clanton bring him down at the 1. But it'll be 2nd down and goal, down close.
Bobby Purify in the past has been somebody known for being able to run the ball, but also being able to pass block. That's one of the things that running backs don't get enough credit for, or discredit. You know, sometimes you're in the game because you can carry the ball, but then you're out of the game because you can't pass block when you don't have the ball.
Right now, he just can't stand the pain. He comes out again, although they put in the 2 fullback set again. 2nd and goal at the 1. Drum, touchdown, Colorado. And Drum, who's usually doing the blocking to lead the way to the end zone, gets one of his own.
Yeah, and they're doing it the same way they did it last year, and that is with power football right at them.
They went 52 yards and never even faced a 3rd down. That's how efficient their ground game was there. 3rd rushing touchdown of the season for Brandon Drum.
No 3rd downs and no passes either.
Only took him a minute and 33 seconds. That kick just about sailed outside, but he got it in there. So 7 more on the board for number 15, Colorado, and they've stretched their lead out to 8 now.
Little sugar for the fullback. And run right over the right side of the offensive line.
Remember he had that penalty earlier in the ball game, and you said, I think that's going to fire him up for the whole game. I don't think he's missed a block since, and now he gets a touchdown.
Page 62 pulls and gets to the outside, and I mean, this guy, look at that. I mean, look, I know he's got big shoulder pads. He's 6'2" and about 230. He does what the fullbacks today can do best, and that is catch the football and block, and not necessarily in that order.
Right. So it's 21-13 now with 3:23 remaining.
Impressive the way Colorado has come out in the 2nd half. They turned it over on their first play, but then 2 touchdowns on the next 2 drives.
Brome set to kick into a pretty stiff wind. Josh Davis waits on the other end, and he'll run up on this one. Davis from the 14. Well, they're not giving him anything on kick returns. Didn't even get 10 out of that. Got to about the 23-yard line. Coming up tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern, Ken Dorsey, Miami against Syracuse, or West Virginia, Pittsburgh. Then at 8 Eastern, you'll see number 7 Notre Dame against number 6 USC, or the Florida State matchups. All tomorrow on ABC Sports. The class of college football as we continue to give you our holiday feast of college football action. Texas a winner today over A&M. This one is an 8-point game, and a lot more coming up for you tomorrow. Here's Darren Diedrich, straight up the middle, into the secondary, and all the way to the 49-yard line. Strickland brought him down. Diedrich almost broke it. He snapped off 25 yards there.
The first half was defense. The second half, nobody. The defense can't stop anybody. Look right up the middle. Watch this here.
That's Richard.
Right here. Now watch the umpire. He's going to be taken down.
Yeah, Richard Wittenberg.
Getting out of the way.
And you can see.
There he is right here.
Richard Wittenberg right there.
He's retiring after this ball game.
He might be retiring in the 3rd quarter. So the trainers of both teams are out there to have a look.
You know, Brad, of all the 7 of the official positions,
that's the traffic.
That's the dangerous.
Yeah, that's the dangerous spot.
The most dangerous of all is the umpire. He stands right behind the defense. He's trying to get out of the way.
I think he gets rolled up on behind him. We always call that right in the back of the knee, I think, is maybe Galladay, the tight end, I think is Richards up, but I don't think that right leg's quite working. We're going to a 2nd string umpire.
Now he's just taking his jacket off. I wonder if he is regularly an umpire or not. I mean, do they?
He's got a U on his back.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. Now, why would they do that? Because that's the position that's most likely to get hurt?
Probably. That's a good call. I mean, you talk about being in traffic all the time with no stoplights. That's what an umpire is involved in.
That's for sure.
Because everything is right where the middle linebacker is.
And you know, if we haven't gotten on the officials today, and we don't very often do that, or there haven't been any close calls, it's probably because they're doing a good job calling the game.
That's exactly right. Well, we hope Richard's okay. So, I hope he had a chance to stretch.
Yeah.
From the 49 back to the live action. First down, Nebraska. On the option to the short side, and Lord goes down. Option has not been a problem today for the Colorado defense.
Colorado had 10 guys up near the line of scrimmage. They're abandoning pass defense. They're going to say, hey, if you want to stop us, you have to do it in the air.
Brayton pulls him down from behind.
Nebraska doesn't have enough guys to block all of the white shirts up there.
Second down, a long 9. Just shaded on the Nebraska side of midfield. They trail by 8 points here in the third quarter. Here's the option. The flip is to Horn, and Horn goes down for a loss.
You're not going to run against 10 guys at the line of scrimmage. They're going to force Nebraska to throw the football.
Sean Tufts is the guy that made the tackle. There's another guy that missed a bunch of work this year. He's missed about 6 games due to a bad ankle. His ankle worked pretty well on this one.
You got Wilder's there. He's going after it. That's just good. That's just good flow. To string it out to the sideline and let the speed catch up to it.
Defensive coordinator Vince O'Crew.
Yeah, good guy. Does a good job.
Here's that third down and long Nebraska has had trouble with today. 3rd and 13, and incomplete, trying to throw down the middle. Wilson Thomas, who I don't think's touched the ball all day, is their leading receiver, and that one was low in the dirt, incomplete. And here comes a punting unit again.
Well, the way to beat Nebraska is stock up and stop their run 1st and 2nd down, force Lord to be in a passing situation.
So Larson will have to punt again. His 5th of the afternoon. Bloom's going to have a chance at this one from the 16, but he takes himself out of the play. Leaning forward a little bit too much, and he got out to the 23 before he goes down. Let's head to Times Square Stadium and check in with John.
Brad, we got another wild finish in the SEC. The time remaining 17 seconds. Matt Jones going 31 yards to Decory Birmingham. The drive, 3 plays and 81 yards, then a celebration penalty. They had to kick a 35-yard extra point. They get it, but LSU has the ball with about 9 seconds left. And don't forget the Kentucky game.
I was going to say, it's not over yet.
Yeah.
This one, we've got 1:31 in the third. And Colorado with an 8-point lead. They've taken the momentum of this game in their favor. And this guy's the guy that's done it. Calhoun on his way to a 100-yard game. 9 more for Brian Calhoun.
And no question about it. Calhoun has been the life of this offense the second half. 2 touchdowns into the win. Nebraska's had the win and hasn't scored a touchdown in this third quarter.
You know what, Grease? He's limping now. A little bit.
I was just going to say that to you, Brad. He got up from that last play and just limped a little bit back to the huddle. Can't tell which ankle or what knee, but maybe it's the turf. I don't know.
I don't know. They're back to the 2 fullback setup, which they have gone to in this short yardage situation. And now Hodge says, I'm not quite sure we got the right guys in here. And he'll take a timeout with 49 seconds remaining in the third quarter. By the way, we understand Arkansas has defeated LSU, and they'll play the Georgia Bulldogs for the SEC championship. Speaking of championships, our BCS rankings entering the weekend. Miami set to play Syracuse tomorrow here on ABC. They're on top of the heap. Ohio State's season is done. They're going to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. And if you look down the list, look at that USC Notre Dame matchup that Keith will call tomorrow night, and that'll be a dandy.
Oh, I want to tell you that.
Oh, that's going to be something.
It's got a little some financial bearing on that ball game.
Only 12 or 13 million.
The difference between going to a BCS that pays $13,500,000 that go to another bowl that may pay $1.5 million is like $12 million.
Yeah.
Now USC would have to split that with the other guys in the conference. Notre Dame, they got to split it with all their other friends. That is nobody. They're not in a conference.
That's right.
So there's 3 teams. There's 6 conference champs, and then there's 2 wild card spots, and there's 3 teams vying for those 2 wild card spots. It's Iowa, which is almost surely in, Notre Dame, which is probably in, and USC, which is wanting to get in.
After the timeout, 2nd down and 1. Calhoun's back in there. And he'll be the man on short yardage, and he's got the first down. And about a 3-yard pickup, as I think John's got the finish of LSU and Arkansas for us. John?
Well, Brad, as you said moments ago, LSU has lost this game. You remember the Kentucky game? They were able to go deep downfield on the Hail Mary. Not this time. You can't throw it forwards there, guys. Arkansas pulls out the win, 21-20 in a game they trailed throughout. So, Arkansas goes on to face Georgia in the SEC championship game next week. Brad.
Arkansas, didn't they start 1-2?
I told you to look out for Arkansas early in the season, didn't I? You don't remember.
The Hogs are having their day.
Yeah.
And so is this guy. Calhoun's over 100 for the first time in his career. He's across the 41. And a kid out of Wisconsin that gained almost 5,000 yards and scored 82 touchdowns in high school is showing that this level, he's got a pretty good handle on it right now, too.
This kid's not even on the depth chart here. I mean, we talk about Chris Brown. Is he going to win the Heisman Trophy? All right. This guy's buried at the 4th rung of the depth chart. You talking about Chris Brown? Is he going to win the Heisman, or is Bobby Purify? Is he going to play, or is it going to be Marcus Houston? No. Calhoun's running for 100 yards.
Into 3 quarters, 21-13. ABC Sports presentation of college football. Return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. That's the Little Red. The Big Red doesn't lose much at home, but heading into the 4th quarter, they're down 8 to Colorado. And the Buffaloes have the ball. 2nd down and 5. Calhoun on the carry again. Met in the hole and dropped by Philip Bland. Our Pacific Life game summary. It was the Brian Calhoun 3rd quarter summary. On a 15-play march, he did most of the work all the way down the field before it was Purify that put it in the end zone. But he had a huge quarter. As Swanee reported after talking to Gary Barnett that number 2 would see a lot of work. We didn't know we'd see 100 yards in a quarter from him. But he has put on a show over a 15-minute stretch. And Colorado in front. Purify now is back in there. Hodge rolling left and throwing. Completes. Fabian Washington put the hit on Derek McCoy. His forward progress, I'm not quite sure where they're going to put it. Took a pretty good shot in the back and out of bounds.
Colorado in that 3rd quarter, 147 yards of offense, only 7 for Nebraska. Hodge doing a nice job of rolling to his left and throwing left, and a nice catch by McCoy.
And there wasn't any forward progress, so it's 4th down.
You know, you talk about Calhoun, you got to mention Bates and Hage and Gray and Lucier and Foster.
That's right.
And King in that offensive line. They're doing a great job.
Mariscal to punt. Right now the play clock, they take the delay of game. He'll back up.
Yeah.
He can air one out here because he's got the air at his back, and he doesn't want to kick it to DeJuan Gross if he can keep it out of his hands at all.
If you just joined us, there is a huge wind blowing from left to right, and it really is an impact in this ball game. And Colorado has got the win in this quarter, but the 3rd quarter they didn't have it, and they scored 2 touchdowns. Now Nebraska's got to have to come up from behind into the win.
And he's aiming to the right. High snap. And he hit it a mile.
He did, didn't he? Oof. Man. What a weapon.
Some kind of leg. It will come out to the 20. 62-yard punt. 13:24 remaining in the ball game now. 21-13. Nebraska's got it back. But as Bob said, the 3rd quarter they did nothing with it on offense. And the one thing that they can't get in is 3rd down and long, because that has been a long day for them in that situation. So let's see if their ground game can get back to work. Diedrich had a pretty good day. Darren started strong in the ball game. Had 57 yards rushing in the 1st half.
Look at the defense. Look at all the guys up near the line of scrimmage.
Diedrich, about 6. They could get 6 every time, they'd be all right. But when they load up with that 9-guy front, he's not going to get it all the time.
They're not going to get 6 against that load.
Frank Solich, longtime assistant to Tom Osborne, of course. And now in his 5th year as the head coach, he's won a couple of Big 12 North Division crowns, 1 Big 12 championship. But this season has been a tough one. 7-5 coming in. Diedrich again the other way. 1st down. John Tufts brought him down, but Diedrich got about 6 more.
You know, we talked to Frank Solich early in the year up at Nebraska, was at Penn State. We talked about the offensive coordinator. He says, you know, it's an awful lot of work. He says, I may give it up after this year, and I think he will, because it takes a lot of work to do both.
Diedrich, about a yard. And then there was speculation about it. There has been for quite a while now, and it showed up in some of the papers in the area, and Frank wasn't too happy about it. They had an unnamed source that said that he would name an offensive coordinator, and he said, I don't know who the unnamed source is, but we're not going to do anything till the season's over, and he didn't take too kindly to it. And when you lose 5, and you almost never do that at Nebraska, it amplifies all of that. And they're trying to avoid having a losing season as far as conference record. They're only 3-4 coming in conference play into this game. 2nd down and 9. They got Davis in there as a trailer on the option. Lord now trying to cut it up on the inside and maybe got 3 yards.
Just too many white shirts out there to get the option going. Lord, but he's rushed 18 times for 31 yards, and that's it.
Remember, this is a guy that came in with over 1,200 yards on the ground.
Averaging over 100 yards rushing per game.
With every time he carries the ball, guys, watch this move right here. He keeps looking for a cutback, a place to go inside, and there is none. You just got to lower your shoulder at that point.
We've been saying that the whole game. When he goes to the middle, there's nothing there. Now he's going to try to throw. Down the middle, incomplete.
See, that's not his strength. They've got him in passing situation. Now they play pass coverage, and he can't hit guys that are downfield. That's not their strength.
I said a couple minutes ago they didn't want to get in 3rd and long, and they got in 3rd and long, and this was the result.
They need to throw on 1st down and run on 3rd down. I mean, because on 1st down, they got 9-10 guys up there, and you're not going to run against them.
So now Larson will kick into the wind. And Bloom waits on the other end. Bloom with a long run for it. Almost got hit by his own man. And now here he goes.
He's got it.
Up, taken out by the punter. Larson saved a touchdown. Bloom almost broke it, but the punter stayed with it and got him out of bounds. Colorado, great field position following the punt return, though, with just under 11 minutes to play. Pink sky at night, sailor's delight. I don't know if there's any place to sail around here in Lincoln. I tell you what, you almost sailed into his own punt returner. Vance Washington, watch him trying to help out Bloom. He almost took him out himself. Right? Whoa! Oh, jeez. And then Bloom took it 35 yards on a 36-yard punt, so right back about where the line of scrimmage was after that punt return. And Larson saved the touchdown. The punter's the guy that got him out of bounds. He's got it's like a wrap on his leg after getting rolled up on earlier in this half. Calhoun. Colorado would love to just take it down here 39 yards, put it in the end zone, and use as much clock as possible.
You know, Colorado not only trying to win this game, but also, you know, if they could win this one and next week against Oklahoma in the championship game, they're looking at going to either the Sugar Bowl or the Orange Bowl.
That's right.
Well, that's something for them to play for.
They came in ranked 15th in the country in the polls. Nice play fake by Hodge. Had to throw around Kelsey again, and it's incomplete. Intended for Brandon Drum, his fullback. But again, every time he comes out in that bootleg, he's got number 57 in his face. Time permitting, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report. Scores and highlights with John and Terry from across the country. So a 3rd down upcoming now for Colorado.
There's a look at Lucier in that offensive line. He's a 5th-year senior. You got 4 5th-year seniors in that offensive line. A couple of guys from that offensive line went to the NFL last year. They've had a good running game at Oklahoma for a long time, but this one is really good.
Pump fake one way, going back the other way to Drum, the fullback, but Bland's got him wrapped up. penalty marker. I don't know if he got a hand in the face mask, unless there was a holding call downfield. Came from kind of a funny spot. So Nebraska is saying that it's against Colorado, so maybe they did have a downfield holding. Let's see. And they're going to pick it up.
The line, therefore, no foul.
Skip the penalty. It is not a first down. And now Colorado's got the wind with them. They're going to send out their field goal unit. Patrick Brome will come in and try a field goal. His long this year is 48.
This one's going to be, what, 52, 51, 52.
51. Again, the wind. We talked about it the entire ball game. And remember, the Nebraska kicker got one up in the wind and helped him get it. Brome from 51. Looks perfect. No. Sailed a little on him. It was good on takeoff, but the wind pulled it this way, and that's the crosswind that Bob talked about earlier, and he missed it.
It's blowing left to right and a little toward this side of the field.
He had to start that a little more to the left post and then let the wind do its business. He's trying to lean it around there. Not quite. Not quite. So Nebraska's still got life. They're down 8. They've got the ball back with 10 to play. Watch it. Just wide. Nice shot, fellas. Great look at it. First down from the 34.
There you
bootleg. Now he pulls up. Coverage was good downfield. There was double coverage on Harrion, the guy that...
Well, Harrion had him beat early, Brad. If he would have stayed in the pocket and thrown the ball, Harrion had him beat. I mean, the play is the right play. Solich getting the play called. Go ahead and let's run this, and let's see. Look at the top of the screen. Right here. Now, stop it right here. Here's Harrion. If he turns around and throws that ball right here, he's got it.
Didn't pull the trigger. And now it's second down and 15. Again, long yardage. Lord. Oof. Took a whack as he got back across the original line of scrimmage. Our Pontiac performance drive summary. Nebraska, their second half possessions. I think they'd say the team that's doing the driving is the defense of Colorado.
Well, Colorado came out and they're putting 9, 10 guys up on first, second down to stop the run. Now on third down, they're playing pass. And this is where Lord can't find the guys.
Nebraska's been terrible on third down conversions, 1 of 10. And again, Lord doesn't pull the trigger early, trying to stiff arm some people, finally does throw, and it's almost intercepted. Just about picked off back there by Phil Jackson, who already had one in the first quarter.
Yep. Vince O'Crew, the defensive coordinator for Colorado, is calling a great game, especially in the second half. They're taking away the run with 9, 10 guys. Then on third down, when they want to pass, he can't find anybody open, and they get after him.
In the punt for the Huskers.
Lord is not a drop back passer. And the best time to take some shots are on first and second down.
Larson to punt again. This one's much shorter. Did it hit a Colorado player? I guess not. Nebraska's going to down it as it rolls dead down at the 19-yard line. Not a bad kick the way it turned out. We'll be back in a moment. 8:30 to play in the ball game. An 8-point difference. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Pontiac, fuel for the soul. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you. Nothing's better. Dr. Pepper. And Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm. More evolved skincare. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan, and our ABC crew on this post-Thanksgiving day from Lincoln, Nebraska. Colorado leads Nebraska 21-13. 8.5 to play. Nebraska's defense, if they're to stay in this game, might have to do it for them. And this time they wrap up Calhoun. Ryan Bingham with a stop. We Talked about one loss this year, breaking a 26-game winning streak at home, and it was courtesy of Texas. Chris Sims threw for a career-high 419 yards and a couple of touchdowns to Roy Williams. Jamal Lord's pass intercepted by Nathan Vasher in the closing seconds, and Texas won at 27-24 here earlier this year. And now Colorado trying to hand Nebraska its second home loss for the first time in 22 years.
Nebraska, as we said earlier, has won 73 of their last 75 games on this field.
Here's Calhoun. Off to the races again. Out to the 39-yard line. What a day number 2 is having. 19 more yards.
Take a look at the offensive line opening some holes. Doing a nice look at the hole right here. Look at this.
That's a beauty.
Got to make somebody miss.
Then Bland missed him and had a little bit of a stiff arm, and Shanley ran him down from behind.
How many running backs does Colorado have? They're going to have plenty left for Oklahoma.
He's their 4th tailback.
Yeah.
And the season coming in, he averaged about 1.5 yards a pop, good for 39. And today he's having a whole career. And he's getting the respect of some of the old guys. Kelsey just helped him up. Kelsey's where the heck did this guy come from? 122 yards in the second half for Brian Calhoun. Again, there's his carries and yards.
Tells you a little bit about him, doesn't it?
Coming into today,
Yeah.
and 16 for 128 today. 3 wideout setting here for the Buffalo. 2nd down and 9. Calhoun straight ahead, ran into Bingham again. They faked that end around, and it didn't have Bingham biting. And look at, he's playing with a big cast on his wrist and thumb.
That defense for Nebraska. They're getting a little embarrassed by the offensive line. All this rushing yards. Last year, over 325 yards given up by Nebraska against Colorado.
Now Purify back in on 3rd down and 10. He gets a good block on Kelsey, and Hodge turns it upfield, but Nebraska's defense is held. It's 4th and long. So another punting situation, but again, they've got a punter who knows how to do it. He's with the wind. And he hit the last one 62 yards, and more importantly, kept it out of number 5's hands. And you can tell DeJuan Gross wants to get his mitts on one here. This guy won't let him.
Yeah, this guy's pretty good. He may be the best punter in the country.
Basically, Colorado ran 3 minutes off the clock with that last possession. Gross is going to have a chance. He might be their only chance, but they are ready for him on the return, too. He got 10 on the return. Billingsley made the stop. Nebraska's got it back, but time is running out. 5:13 left. Jamal Lord hasn't completed a pass in this half.
Yeah. And if you're going to do it, you got to do it on 1st or 2nd down. You know, one of the things that was so good about Tom Osborne when he was here, I thought his play calling and his timing was just great.
Horn is dropped immediately by Tufts.
I thought when Osborne was playing, it was an imaginative. His timing was good. He was as good at calling plays in this style of offense as Spurrier was back then with Florida, calling plays in that spread offense. I mean, he'd get the ball. He was sneaky. This offense is last in the conference in touchdown passes. When Osborne was coaching, they often would lead the conference in touchdown passes.
A lot of times by the element of surprise. Here's the fullback. And Davies rumbles out to about the 31-yard line for a first down. Pickup of 16.
Here's a look from behind the offense. 2 tight ends. They're all looking for the tailback. And whoa, wait a minute. The guy's already passed us. Good call.
Davies has been a good part of their running game today. from his fullback spot.
Now you got single coverage up the top of the screen.
Horn dropped the ball. Colorado's got it.
Yep.
He never handled the pitch. And Tufts is on the bottom of the pile. Never had it in his hands, I don't think. It hit his hands, and that was about it. Wilson Thomas is still battling Tufts for the ball, but it's Colorado's football. And the battle continues as they have to try to separate everybody. And the Buffaloes will take over.
Horn was almost coming forward when that ball was tossed. You won't see it here. He threw it kind of high up in his face. He was kind of coming forward towards the line of scrimmage, and for a toss, you don't ever want to be coming forward toward the line of scrimmage. But that was a key turnover.
So Colorado's got a chance to ice things here with just over 4 minutes to play and leading by 8. And here's Calhoun on the cutback, and he got a yard, maybe 2. Bland made the stop. We talked about Tom Osborne a moment ago. He sort of came out in defense of Frank Solich in the past couple of weeks, and he said, you know, around here, people got very used to winning because we won so much. They'll never get used to losing.
Yeah.
And so he was here today with his wife, Nancy, and they were honored for one of the programs that they've installed here. And now Tom, of course, is in the politics in Congress as a representative of Nebraska's 3rd congressional district.
I asked somebody in the know around here, I said, if he ran for governor, they said he'd win in a landslide.
And again, just keeping it on the ground down to about the 25-yard line. Tom got 93% of the vote to get to re-up. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the guy running, you know, against him? It'd be like running against, you know, Superman for the mayor of Metropolis or something like
why
that.
would you run against him?
I don't know.
I mean, why would you? Yeah.
So 3rd down and a long 5. 1 of 11 was Nebraska so far on 3rd down. They might not get another shot at a 3rd down today. They need a stop here. Well, they got it. About a yard shy is Calhoun. Now let's see if Gary Barnett's going to bring out his field goal unit again.
We did this game a couple years ago, and 2 years ago, Gary Barnett brought this team over, and they didn't win. Didn't have a very good team at that time, but he brought all the injured, brought all the young players, all the freshmen, because he wanted to have them experience this experience over here at Nebraska. How tough it is to win here, and how big the stadium, how loud it is, and because I think he wanted those guys. Now Chris Brown was one of those guys that wasn't playing. You know, all those guys that he brought along now are competing, and this is a veteran Colorado football team. There's only one sophomore on the whole starting lineup on offense and defense.
2:47 left. Reminder tomorrow at 1 o'clock, Ken Dorsey in Miami against Syracuse, or West Virginia and Pittsburgh. Then at 8, it'll be Notre Dame and USC, or Florida State. So all tomorrow. ABC Sports, the class of college football. Is anybody hotter in the country than Carson Palmer right now?
Hey,
that'll be a dance.
You know. All right, we got it a second here. Give me a little who's your surprise team of the year? Surprise team.
Iowa.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, who are you going to take?
Well, I pick Iowa, but you have to also have Notre Dame was a surprise. Yeah. Ohio State doing what they did. How about your surprise player of the year?
Well, we got to find out after this 4th down.
All right.
Here's the give to the fullback, and he's got the 1st down. So they go on 4th and 1, and Brandon Drum is still beating the drum down there to the 15-yard line.
Yeah. That's ball game right there.
Yeah, that should be it. Well, I took surprise team Iowa. Who knew Brad Banks before this year?
That's for sure. I agree with that. Brad Banks, nobody. He was a junior college transfer at Iowa, played a little quarterback last year, and just came out of nowhere. You know, there's this conference right here. We talk about Nebraska. They're going to get their 6th loss here today. Colorado, they lost 2 of their first 3 ball games, and then have won 7 out of the last 8.
Here goes Drum to his own beat. Touchdown. And it's over. 16-yard touchdown for the fullback, who made one mistake way back early in this game on special teams. And as Bob said then, Gary Barnett gave him a tap on the helmet and said, now go out and do everything right the rest of the day, and he has.
That's right. Good cop, bad cop. The assistant was over yelling in his ear, and then came Gary Barnett and says, all right, just show me something the rest of the way.
And sadly, a 256th sellout is starting to file out here in Lincoln. Extra point is good. 30 yards in 5 plays, and remember, it followed the fumble by Nebraska. 28-13, Colorado on its way to its 9th win of the year. .2:14 remaining, and Colorado's just iced it with a 16-yard touchdown run by the fullback, and they're set to kick away. That is, unless Josh Davis could get his mitts on one here and take it coast to coast, and we might still have a ball game. He's going to give it a shot from about 4 yards deep. Davis got a seam. He's out to the 38-yard line. Talked about all the streaks that were in jeopardy, and they're in very much jeopardy with 2 minutes left in the game.
Well, they're not going to win 9 games because they're 7-5. Now they're going to be 7-6 with 1 left. I don't think they're going to finish in the top 25. And it depends on the bowl game, the outcome of the bowl game, whether or not they have a winning season.
They're going to have to start all new streaks next year. And Lord, nowhere near Wilson Thomas with that throw, incomplete. Jamal has had his troubles throwing the football today.
But I think it's been more of the timing. I think he needs to throw on first down when it's easier for him to throw. You know, this is his first year playing full-time too. It's his 4th year in the program. He's a senior, but he's a junior eligibility-wise. But he sat behind Eric Crouch all this time.
Here he is on the run. This is what he does do well. And he's got a first down, and he's in Colorado territory down to the 41-yard line.
But Colorado took that away from him today.
Yes, they did.
Tried to run on first down, and then you tried to throw on 3rd down. You got to do just the opposite. Of course, there's a new leader in the Big 12 North, and that's Colorado. This has to be a big boost going into that game next week against Oklahoma, the championship game down in Houston.
Well, they started the season, Colorado that is, 1-2, but this is going to be their 8th win in their last 9 outings. I don't see a flag now. Finally, one flies in. That's going to be interference on Roderick Sneed. So that'll keep the drive going and move closer to the Colorado end zone for Nebraska. But they've got to do it and do it in a hurry. They've got 2 timeouts remaining. Reminder tomorrow, Tiger, Phil Mickelson, Mark O'Meara, and Fred Couples compete for $1 million in the Thanksgiving Weekend Classic, the ConAgra Food Skins game, tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific, right here on ABC. All-time Skins money winner is Fred, over $2 million.
Easy, Eddie Fred.
And that ball almost intercepted by Moore. Had his hands on it and dropped it.
So what do you think about Colorado and Oklahoma, partner?
Well, as soon as that game was over, Colorado, they had so many turnovers, and they thought they self-destructed against Oklahoma, and they made a lot of statements about, we're ready to play a doubleheader. We'll play them right now.
Yeah, well, I
don't know about that.
I agree with what Bob Stoops had to say. He just said, hey, we just played this game. You guys were saying, well, the pressure was on us. Now we just played it. Now you're saying something different.
Lord throws. Man is out there, and it's broken up at the very last moment by Roderick Sneed. Colorado and Oklahoma, the first time they met, it's the only game they've lost in the 9-game winning streak I was telling you about, or 8 of 9. They had 3 turnovers early in the ball game, and then Nate Hibble threw 3 touchdown passes, 2 to Mark Clayton, and it was Oklahoma 27-11, and that's when there was a lot of talking going on from both sides, and Bob Stoops said, you know what? He said, this isn't golf. We don't get mulligans here. We beat you, so go home. If you want to play us again, come and play us again.
That's right. This should be a great game next week.
Yeah, it should be.
I think Oklahoma is very strong, but I think Colorado is also.
throw down the middle. Oh, what a collision. And I hope that Kyle Ringenberg is okay. He really took a shot, and he held on to the ball. You could hear that one way up here. The good thing is he's moving around in pain. I'll tell you that much. Here he comes, number 86, and there's going to be a collision. He knows it's coming too. Oh, right in the head area. Just listen to this. Oh, that is a nasty sound. He's up and okay though. I don't know if he's okay, but he's up, thank goodness.
I think he got kneed in the lower back by one of the defenders.
Nebraska finally picked up a first down on a long yardage situation, and they're inside the 20. And Kyle, one of the seniors, one of 27, playing their final game on Tom Osborne Field here at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln today. And now another fumble, but Lord picks this one up. Fires out. Davis. Josh taken out of bounds. So finally Nebraska's got a little something working on offense, but they only have 1:07. They got to get it in the end zone and then pray for an onside kick. While we've got a moment today, our Chevrolet players of the game for these two. A couple guys we weren't expecting a lot from. Ryan Calhoun, way over 100 yards, the first time he's carried it this often. And Dale Endorf, a guy who up until October 19th didn't even have a uniform for Nebraska. Their kicker hit an extra point and a 48-yard field goal to try to keep them in the ball game. And in recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. What a thrill for number 32 today. And
great day for him. Just a great day. Well, a memorable day in his college. If he does nothing other than this, he can always say that I had a great day and I was the player of the day.
Yep. All his friends back at Friends College in Wichita, Kansas are probably watching, going, man, can you believe that guy's wearing a Nebraska uniform?
Hey, if you were fans of these two teams, big alumni and really, really good fans, you wouldn't know who those two players are unless you had a program.
Incomplete. Wilson Thomas has not touched the ball today other than on one hop or two. And now it's 4th down. So they're down to maybe their final snap. If they can't do something with it here, Colorado's going to take over, and it'll be ball game. Fourth down, and Nebraska 9 of 20 on 4th downs this year. Oops, they might get a free 5.
You got single coverage on the outside right there.
To the end zone and broken up. Kind of the story of the day, intended for Ben Cornelson, and Donald Strickland broke it up. I thought they were going to get a free 5, but whoever jumped there, Marcus Harris, got back across the line, and there was no penalty, so Colorado takes over.
Fourth down, Colorado comes with a blitz. Plenty of time. Now just throw it to the outside.
Knocked away. And just for good measure, after he throws, Jamal gets a wake-up call, as if he didn't know Colorado's defense was in his face most of the day. So now the Buffaloes can come out and run a couple of the greatest plays if you're a football player in history.
This is one you love to run right here.
A couple of knees and go home.
Kneel down play.
So for the first time since 1990, Colorado is going to beat Nebraska in Lincoln as the final seconds of the final minute begin to tip off here, and Nebraska will fall to 7-6, and they'll finish their conference season 3-5, and Colorado will go to 9-3, 7-1 in conference play. And probably more importantly, as Bob mentioned earlier, got to be a big confidence boost to them as they get set for the Big 12 championship against Oklahoma next week. So a happy day on the road, a happier Thanksgiving for the road team. And Colorado will be the home team, by the way, because it's held in the southern part of the Big 12. They'll be the home team in the Big 12 championship next week. Gary and Frank shaking hands, and Gary was asked this week, how does it make you feel that you may have started the decline of Nebraska football, at least for the time being? He said, I'm never happy about that because Frank Solich is a good friend and he's involved. And Gary's down with Swanee right now.
Well, Coach, Bob and Brad were talking about a few years ago how you brought all your young players here. You wanted them to experience the intensity of this ball game. You come away now with a victory here. As satisfying as you thought it would be?
It's always satisfying to win a Big 12 game, but win one here is even more special. And you know, this team put its own mark, laid its own mark today a little bit here to come in here. You know, we've not played well here in the past, where we haven't won. It's a tough place to play. It's got a great tradition, but we had enough to us today to do it, and I'm just really proud of those guys.
Talk about enough tools. I mean, I know you're the Buffaloes, but you got about 4 or 5 stallions in your backfield. Where did that Brian McCullough come from?
Well, Brian, you know, I said all along that Brian was going to be a heck of a player as soon as he learned to go north and south. And today, you know, he showed up, and at halftime, we just went to he and Marcus, said, you guys got to be big-time guys now because everybody else is out. And they stepped up. You know, it was a great performance by him.
I know this team is looking forward to being down in Houston next week. Any thoughts on that game, that matchup?
Not a thought. I'm going to watch Oklahoma State play tomorrow. So I don't have any thoughts. I'm just glad to get out of Lincoln with a win.
There you go, Coach. Congratulations. We got Brian Calhoun down here also, guys. I'm going to just walk over here a second here. And Brian, real quick, Brian, you want to grab your turn around over here? Tremendous win. Now, this is the first time you've been in the stadium. How did you feel coming in the second half, the pressure of this ball game?
I mean, I knew Bobby was down. I was glad to have the opportunity to play. I mean, Chris and Bobby, they gave me all the confidence in the world, and I just came up big, I hope. I mean, I'm glad for the team win.
Now, we were talking earlier in the week, you were at practice, and you were running through your own team, and the coach stopped you because you were just making those guys look bad at practice?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, we got a good defense. They played the bus off today, so I'm just glad we got a team win.
Now, the offensive line looked like they were opening up great holes for you. You were just as calm as could be, reading the blocks of your offensive line, moving down the field.
They did a tremendous job. I mean, I've been working with them all year, so we just had a great win.
Congratulations to you.
Appreciate it.
Brad?
All right, guys. So that offensive line of Colorado's did the job today, and they win it 28-13 on the road. That's going to do it for Bob Gracie and Lynn Swan. I'm Brad Nessler. Final score, 28-13. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. Keyword ABC Sports. Let's head to John and Terry. Fellas.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. 1990 was the last time Colorado won at Lincoln, and for the Cornhuskers, a couple of streaks that are not going to be too proud to get hold of or let go, including the 33 years. Now, this is one of the most amazing streaks I've ever seen. Florida State and your dad, their streak that ended in 2000 lasted 14 years. Nebraska, 33 straight years with at least 9 wins, but not this season.
Well, why the expectations are so tough at Nebraska. Look how much more those wins are than Florida State, second place. 33 wins. That's why it's tough on Frank Solich.
Florida is current, by the way, so if they get there, they'll go to 13, and they'll only have 20 more years to go to get that. And you mentioned Frank Solich, and everybody respects what he can do as a coach, especially as an offensive coordinator. Unfortunately for him, 2 of the worst seasons that have ever been held at Nebraska fall under his leadership. Solich 7-6, of course, since 1962, and back in '98 he was 9-4. And you think the change he's already said he's going to make is going to help?
Well, he had to make the move, name a new offensive coordinator. It's clear he can be a good offensive coordinator because he was one before he became a head coach. But head coach and offensive coordinator, not working. If he didn't hire a new one, they may be hiring a new head coach.
Yeah, he fires himself as offensive coordinator and gets the head coaching job to continue. Stick around. We'll come back with more of the Thrifty Colorado post-game report in just a moment. Once again, Colorado with a big win at Nebraska, their first there in 12 years.